Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know what time of the day it is. The deadline being at a different time has completely thrown me off my game. Welcome to another live stream. The third from final. Next week will be the penultimate, and then we'll have the final live stream of the season. It's been a long season, a slightly stressful season at points, but I've absolutely loved every second. Of course, my first season on YouTube, and I'll remember this forever, and I've absolutely loved all of these live streams we've done, creating all of the content for you. So thank you so much if you've been tuning into the videos on a regular basis. If you're new to the channel, welcome. Do make sure to say hello in the chat as always. We'll take a few minutes to just say good morning to everyone, or good evening, good afternoon, wherever you are in the world. And yeah, then we'll get into 2 hours of looking at my team, looking at potential questions that you guys have. Might do a little bit of tinkering with game week 37 and 38 as well. So do say good morning to me and to the chat, and then we'll jump on to answering some of your questions in a bit. So where are we at today? Where are people at? I know this is a pretty good time, I think, for those in like New Zealand and Australia. I know we've got Clive in the chat who's from New Zealand. Steve, also from New Zealand. Yep, someone else said, yep, Robert, good time for this in Australia. So I think it's a really nice time for those guys, which is great to hear. Good evening. Good evening. Good morning, Ross. Good morning, Christopher. Good morning, Ludlow. Good morning, Anamesh. That's a cool name. Good morning, AK. Good morning, Alif. Good to see you. Ready for a big bench week. We have got the bench boost active. So we'll discuss this in a second. I've made 2 transfers at the moment. I'm currently debating a -4. I'm going to absolutely need the help from you guys in the chat to help me decide whether it's worth taking the -4. I'll be honest, at the moment, I'm actually leaning towards maybe not taking the -4. I think sometimes when you're really unsure about a player's minutes and you're unsure about whether you should take the player out that you've got, maybe sometimes you just don't do it. Maybe you just let the team roll as it is, you know? Hi from Brazil. Not from New Zealand, but perfect time for me too. It does give us a bit of a lie-in. Sometimes on a Saturday, I'm up at like 7 a.m. creating graphics, getting ready for the live stream. It's quite nice to have a bit of a chilled morning. I'm from Essex. I'm from Essex too. So good morning from Essex. Big fan, Ross. Great content. Thank you very much, Ahmed. I appreciate that. Bulgaria, Mauritius. I think we've got a couple of members from Mauritius, which is cool. Good morning, Ross. Good morning, DJ Hammer. Good to see you, my man. South Africa in the building. I think South Africa might be after, obviously, the UK, maybe even instead of the UK. I think it might be where we've got most of our members from. We've got a lot of members from South Africa, which is absolutely cool. It's somewhere that I really want to go. I really want to go to Cape Town. So if you're from South Africa, that's cool. Maybe one day I'll get out there and we can do some sort of FPL meetup. That'd be super cool. Right. I won't distract any longer from FPL. Just quickly before we do obviously discuss FPL, you guys will know that for this season, the live streams have been sponsored by SPITCH. So just quickly, massive shout out to the guys over at SPITCH for supporting the channel. Obviously, by them sponsoring the videos, it allows the videos to continue to come out on a regular basis, and I do really appreciate that. If you're wondering what SPITCH is and you've never played before, link down below. First link in the description will take you to SPITCH. It's basically another fantasy football game, but you get to create a fresh team every week. So it's almost like you have a free hit every single week, and you pick the best team you possibly can. A lot of the competitions are free. You can also enter paid for competitions as well. And it's just a really cool way to just spice up your fantasy football game a little bit. So I really enjoy it. The scoring is super interesting. As you can see on your screen, some of these players get like 300-400 points in a game. The reason for that is you get points for like passes, interceptions, tackles, all of these different aspects that FPL just don't measure. So I really like SPITCH. I have been playing SPITCH every single week this season. I haven't earned that much yet because I just play the free competition. So as you can see, because you can enter paid for competitions, it is 18 plus. Please be gamble aware. But just if you don't want to gamble and you're not 18 plus, well, obviously you have to be 18 plus to play, but just don't play the paid for versions, play the free versions. Basically, to help support the channel, do just click the link in the description, give SPITCH a go, and if you do like it, do let me know down below in the comments. But that is that. Thank you very much for SPITCH for continuing to sponsor the videos on this channel. Without further ado, let's just move this over here whilst you see me finishing off my team on SPITCH. Let's move on to my team for the upcoming game week. Right, so I've made 2 transfers. Let's switch over there now. The 2 transfers that I've already made are, I've brought in Richarlison for Gelhardt, and I've brought in Saka for Sterling. Now, I had 2 free transfers, right? So I've used my 2 free transfers to bring in Richarlison and Saka. And I think pretty much everyone in the comments on my team selection video and everyone in the chat now, I think you'll agree that was the sensible set of 2 moves, right? If you went onto FPL Review, Fantasy Football Fix, if you went into my comments, if you went onto Twitter, everyone pretty much was saying sensible decisions, get rid of Gelhardt and Sterling, get Richarlison, Saka, and leave it there. So that's what I've done for now. Those have been my 2 transfers. Currently got the armband on Salah, got my Vice on Cancelo. I have the bench boost active. My bench boost is currently looking like Foster, Pookie, Gordon, and Cash. There's justification to start Pookie ahead of Watkins and Alonso. It's really difficult to actually predict who I think I would bench. I would probably do it like this. I think I'd start Alonso, Mount, and Havertz just because I think the upside's there if they start both. And I think it'd be between Watkins and Pookie for me for the bench. It doesn't really matter, though. This is probably realistically what my bench would look like. The final thing that I need your help with, guys, is, again, if you've been following me on Twitter, I can see a few people in the chat already discussing this move, is do I take Havertz out for an extra -4? And if so, who do I bring in? Right, so I'm going to run a poll straight away because I would absolutely love the help from you guys because you're always very helpful in these live streams. Who scores the most points? Who scores the most points in game week 36? I'm not even going to look at 37 and 38 now. This is purely 36. So I'm thinking in 37... I could take out whoever's in that spot anyway for the likes of Maddison, Coutinho, Zaha if I want to take a punt, and that's quite a nice position to take a punt. So we're purely going to focus on game week 36 here. And what I'm going to do with this poll is I'm going to do, obviously, the options that I've got, which almost knocked my hat off there. Oh, God. I'm going to do Havertz plus 4 points, right? Because Havertz would not require a hit if I keep Havertz. Outside of that, every other one is going to be -4. So it's going to be Havertz plus 4. And then I'm going to give you my top 3 options, which is Diaz, Jota, and Foden. I can afford Mahrez. I just don't particularly fancy it. Right, so let's just add that poll in. Right, please vote on the poll. Then we're going to leave it up for a little bit for this live stream, because this is basically my big decision that's left. Everything outside of that, I think I'm fairly happy with. Do let me know in the chat what you think of my bench boost. I'm pretty happy with it, all right? I think it's a pretty good team. I think the only positions or players, I guess, that I'm missing, really, are Son and Kane and Kulusevski, right? I don't own any Spurs assets, and also maybe Nketiah. Outside of the, I guess, obviously, a Man City attacker. Right, so Man City attacker, Spurs attacker, and then maybe Nketiah. But I mean, you can't own everyone. So for those to be the only players that I'm really desperately missing in this team, I'm pretty happy with that, right? So let me know what you think of it. Just going to catch up with the chat now. Got a super chat from Nathan. Thank you very much for the super chat, my man. It says, best £4.5 million defender, Robertson and Mount out for Son and defender. Yeah, I don't mind that at all. To be honest, I would keep Robertson and Mount, if I'm being honest. There's a good chance that Robertson only plays 1 game in the double, but it's still Robertson. I think Mount is just good to hold for the remainder of the season. If you do want to do that, though, I think it's got to be Tavares, if you're going for a 4.5 or below. I think below 5 million, I quite like Mikalenko and Mina. I think they're both pretty set to start. Mina's pretty good in the air, and the 2 teams that they're playing, Leicester and Watford, are pretty shaky from set pieces. So if you've got £5 million for a defender, if anyone watching this is looking for a chip, I quite like Yerry Mina if you think he's going to start both. Outside of that, I think Tavares is probably the best shout. You could go Sessegnon, but I just really don't like the double in 36 for Spurs defence. So, yeah. It's such a hard decision for that spot. Let me... if you're in the chat, open up the poll right now and look at how close this is. So 26% say Havertz and 4 points, 29% say Diaz, 21% say Jota, and 25% say Foden. It's pretty much a 4-way split between the options that I've given to you. At the moment, Diaz is just about edging it. So at the moment, as you can see, I posted this on Twitter. It was very close. I've looked at FPL review. It's very close. I've thought about it myself, and it's very close. The chat is very close. I'm thinking, if it's that close, do I just keep Havertz? Because if I'm thinking Diaz, Jota, and Foden have all 3 have got a very high likelihood of only playing 1, it's difficult to try and predict which of those are going to start more. Is it just sensible to just keep the one I've got, save 4 points, and just hope that Havertz plays 120 minutes and gets in a return? Because the thing is, if you're thinking about a -4 hit, and this goes for anyone that's considering a hit at the moment, if Havertz gets 1 return, say he even gets a single assist and plays 3 minutes, maybe he gets 5 or 6 points. I would need Diaz, Jota, and Foden to get 10 points just to pay back the hit. I'd need them to get 13, 14, 15 points to make it worthwhile making the transfer. Then you've also got to take into account the fact that Havertz, if he plays in 37 and 38 against Leicester and Watford, is a fantastic option too. I don't know. I'm starting to lean towards keeping Havertz, but I mean, you'll see my thinking change across the next the next 2 hours. I could quite easily bring in one of the other three. It's difficult to try and predict who. Got a super chat from Darius. Thank you very much for the support. Says, hey man, 2 questions: Matip or James? Okay, James by some distance for me there, and Saka or Cancelo as captain. Right, let me just explain my thinking for James and Matip. I think there's a very good chance James plays both, if I'm being honest. I wouldn't like to try and predict with any certainty. I think James will start one at right back and one at right centre back and one at right wing back. If I had to predict right now, I would say James will start the Wolves game at right wing back. So the game today, I believe, against Wolves at right wing back, and I think he'll start the Leeds one at right centre back, just because I don't think there'll be that much pressure put on him at right centre-back against Leeds, and I think that'll be a fairly comfortable game for him ahead of the FA Cup final. And I just think that James, even if he only plays one, James is so attacking that he's just worth it against Matip for me. And I've also seen a few Liverpool fans predict the possibility, small possibility, that Konate actually starts versus Spurs just for his pace against Son. So for me, that's James. And then your second question, Saka or Cancelo as captain. I really like Cancelo as a captaincy shout this week. I know some people, for example, let's talk FPL Andy, I know he doesn't like captaining defenders, and I fully appreciate that, because if he does lose the clean sheet, Cancelo doesn't get that many attacking returns. I think he's only got like 5 or 6, maybe 6 or 7 assists or something like that, and like 1 or 2 goals this season. He doesn't get that many attacking returns, but he is good for bonus. If he gets an attacking return and a clean sheet, it's just going to be such a monster haul. So I would say James out of the 2, and then I'd say Cancelo captain. We've got a second super chat from Ahmed, but you didn't attach your message. I can see your message now. It says Robertson, Havertz, Foden out for Matip, Gordon, and KDB. Will cost me a -4 and I'm bench boosting. Am I overthinking it? Robertson, Havertz, and Foden out for Matip, Gordon, and KDB. What I would say is I think there's a good chance that all 3 of the players you're taking out are rested for one of them. And I also think there's a good chance that all 3 that you're bringing in play both. So I think you're probably getting extra fixtures there, but Robertson, Havertz, and Foden are 3 of the best assets in the game. I'd probably try and look at some other transfers if you can, but I don't think you're overthinking it at all. And it is nice to get KDB in, especially if you're going to captain him. So it's a tricky one. I don't mind it. You're not overthinking it, but I would question if those 3 are worth taking out for a hit. By the way, if you're enjoying the stream today, guys, do drop a like on it. Like I say, helps to boost the video out to other people. The more people that YouTube see liking the video, they say, hey, let's move it up on everyone's recommended viewing. So if you are enjoying the stream, 500 people in the stream already, which is absolutely class. Please do drop a like on the stream. I massively appreciate the support. Got a highlighted message from Andre. Says, no questions here, no player talk. Just want to thank Ross and all the other Raptors for help this season. I'm already waiting for the next one. I massively appreciate that, my man. It's been absolutely incredible building this community on the channel, and also the Raptors supporters as well. So thank you very much for the support. Havertz and Dennis to Saka and Richarlison, 2 free transfers, good move. Yeah, I don't mind taking out Havertz. I may well end up taking out Havertz. And with respect to... sorry, I've just lost it. With respect to Dennis to Richarlison, that's a massive upgrade. Yeah, I'd make those moves. Hi, Ross. Havertz, Pookie, and Dennis to Saka, Richarlison, and Ketia for -4. It feels a very similar. You're taking out a lot of doublers for other doublers, but they are upgrades for sure. I like that slightly more than the other one we just discussed. Again, not that keen on it for -4, but I do appreciate it. It's similar to what I've done, really. Taking out Sterling, taking out maybe Havertz. You're guessing. This is the thing that I maybe don't like about FPL at the moment. I've discussed this over on Twitter. FPL at the start of the season and in past seasons as well, yes, it's important to try and predict who's going to play, but it feels more like you're looking at underlying statistics. It feels more that you're looking about upcoming fixtures. FPL at the moment, let me know in the chat if you disagree with this. FPL at the moment, it just feels like an expected minutes game. It feels like all I'm doing at the moment is trying to predict who's going to play more minutes, and I hate that because it's a complete guess. It's random. No one actually knows. All this talk all week about who's going to play both games in the double out of Jota and Diaz, no one actually knows. Is Foden going to start? Probably not, but would you be surprised? No. And the options that we've all got to choose from, if I just go back to my example, I know I talk about my team a lot, but here we go. Diaz, Jota, Foden, Havertz. Those 4 have got very similar, very good underlying statistics, right? If we let's just switch over to... just to help me make my point here at the moment, just to give us something to talk about. I will get back to your questions, don't worry, guys. That one. Right, I'm over on Fantasy Football Scout at the moment. If we just select Let me select Jota. Let me select... what am I doing? Let me just go by team to make it easier. I want to select the players that I'm talking about at the moment. Havertz. Sorry, my point will be my point will be made very, very soon. Don't worry. We'll even chuck where is he? We'll chuck Mahrez in there as well, and we'll chuck Foden. Foden's maybe not the best example here. So this is minutes per expected goal involvement over the last 6 matches. If I just order these, again, Foden's maybe not the best example here because he's dropped off a little bit recently, and it's one of the main reasons I'm probably thinking about Foden less than other players. Mahrez at 118 minutes per expected goal involvement. Havertz at 123. We've then got Jota at 123.4 and Diaz at 176.6. Specifically these 3, or probably what my main decision is between Havertz and Jota, they've got identical minutes per expected goal involvement. They've got very similar difficulty of fixtures. The decision at the moment in FPL, it's just not coming down to which players you think have the best stats or which players you think are passing the eye test or which players you think have good fixtures. It's literally which player do you think is going to play the most minutes, and I hate that. I just don't think there's much skill there, and maybe I'm not giving enough credit to those people that accurately predict some of these lineups, but I just don't like that element of the game for me. So without moaning too much, that's my issue at the moment with FPL. And yeah. I guess that is part of the game. It's part of the skill gap. But maybe you just start selecting players that are going to be playing more minutes. Maybe you just go for the likes of Coutinho. Not because you think he's necessarily a fantastic option, but he's almost dead certain going to start both. Is that the way you do it? Maybe. Maybe it is. I don't know if you guys agree with me there. Maybe I'm alone in that. Which do you prefer? Trent and Gordon or Matip and Havertz from Chris? I'd have to go Trent and Gordon, I think, for me. Who's better, Gordon or Dennis? I prefer Gordon. Bowen versus Norwich, but we're all greedy for doubles. Yeah, it does look like a really nice one, doesn't it, to be fair? It's going to be one where, like, Ronaldo continues to absolutely smash it and gets a brace or something like that. And these things happen. We saw Salah in game week 33 getting the 19-pointer. There will be single game weekers that outscore most of our doublers, for sure, but it's difficult to know. Gary makes a great point as well. Gary's just said it'll be more of a guessing game with 5 subs. Can you imagine next season when you give Pep, Klopp and Tuchel, although Pep sometimes doesn't even make subs, but when you give them more subs to make as well, it makes it even trickier because you can, like, similarly to what we see in the Champions League a little bit, when we saw Klopp's done it a few times this season and Brendan Rodgers has done it in the Europa Conference League, making a lot of subs at the 45-minute mark. Are we going to start to see quite a lot of half-time substitutions? Because you can make 2 subs at half-time, and then you can still have 3 subs later in the game. Obviously, you can't make them at 5 different points, but you can make them at various points, and you can make 2 at half-time and then 3 later on in the game. So, yeah. Maybe I should stop complaining. It's not complaining. It's just the things about the game that I prefer are not guessing who's going to play more minutes, I guess. Ederson or Schmeichel? Obviously Ederson, but for the money saved, maybe I just go Schmeichel. Start for Fana or Kulusevski? It's got to be Kulusevski for me. Yeah, Joseph agrees. You're correct, Raptor. Totally agree with you. Managers are more concerned with playing time than points and stats. Maybe we shouldn't be. Maybe I should stop getting caught up with playing time and just think, who is the best player and hope that they play? In which case, it's probably Jota. I'll be honest, I'm still tempted by Havertz to Jota. I really am. I'm really, really tempted. And I'll be honest, I'm not tempted by Foden as much anymore. So for me, I'm narrowing down. The closer we get to the deadline, I'm going to continue to narrow down my decision-making. At the moment, it's probably Havertz. I keep Havertz or I go to one of Diaz and Jota. That's the decision to make at the moment. It's a really tough one, though. Tobias in the chat, good to see you, my man. If you're trying to close a gap, would you risk triple captain Cancelo or play it safe and give it to triple captain Salah? Let us know in the chat. Help Tobias out here. What would you do if you were trying to make up some rank? So I don't think Toby's rank's too bad, but I think he's got a little bit to make up, and obviously he's trying to close the gap on a few mini-league rivals. I think I'd risk it on Cancelo if I had a relative gap to make up. But the thing is, triple captain in Salah, you're still going to get like 100% of his extra points. So if Salah gets 20 points and you've triple captained him, you're going to get 20 points on top of anyone else that's captained him there. So I still like that a lot, but I'd be super tempted by Cancelo. I say that, I've got points to make up, and I'm still captaining Salah though, Toby, so who knows? James says, 100% agree, Ross. Don't particularly enjoy buying players based on minutes alone over ones I think are more explosive. But as a risk-averse manager, it's just the way I feel I have to play. Yeah, I don't have an issue with people playing that way. And to be honest, that's what I've been doing as well. I just don't like it. Robbo will be trashed this week. Yeah, I don't expect Robertson to start against Villa, but he may do. Is Holgate nailed? Holgate's not nailed, but he's likely to play. The issue is that they've got, obviously, Mina and Keane. He can play in at left back. Is he going to play both at left back? I doubt it because they've got Mikalenko. They can play 5 at the back. It's pretty tricky. I would probably just go for Mikalenko or Mina. I think they're slightly better, but obviously Holgate's a lot cheaper. I think he's 4.2, 4.3 mil, so. So chat's moving pretty quick today. There you go, Toby. If you're still here, everyone's all over the triple captain Cancelo. But to be honest, you'll know this from being a YouTuber. Live stream chats are always very risk-seeking. If you ask a live stream chat, should I take a -16? They're always going to say yes. They love it. They love it. You guys are just trying to ruin our rank. Havertz to KDB and Robertson to Castagna for a -8. God, no, I don't like that, to be honest. I like getting KDB in, but Robertson to Castagna feels like a stranger. I don't think Castagna will start both. And for a -8, I'm not too keen there. My only worry with Diaz is minutes. I'm sure he will start the final in one Premier League game. I think Jota will start in the league. Yeah, so just to recap my thinking, it was basically what they presented on Black Box. I already had this thought process, but Mark sort of confirmed it for me. I think Diaz, Mane, Salah, right, that front three, Diaz, Mane, Salah, I think they'll start the FA Cup final. Then, if you think Diaz is going to start the FA Cup final, do you think he's going to start both Prem games as well, which will be 3 games in the space of about a week? Maybe I think it's just over a week. I can't see him playing 3 games in a row, but what you could see, I guess, is some early substitutions. He could play like 60, 60, 80, in which case that's not that many minutes. With Jota, if I don't think Jota's going to play the FA Cup final, and Jota only played 45 minutes in the Champions League, is it feasible for Jota to play both games in the Prem, miss the FA Cup final, and then come back for 37 and play 37 as well? Yeah. And I think Mane will miss probably the Villa game or the Spurs game. So if I had to predict now, I guess I think Mane and Diaz are more likely to only play one, and I think Jota's slightly more likely to play both. But again, it's pretty tricky to try and predict this stuff. I don't know the answer. I don't know the... No one knows the answer, but specifically not me. I'm really struggling with it. Sorry, just lost the chat there. Are you more keen on Mount than Havertz? Yeah, I'm more keen on Mount. I think he's more, not necessarily more safe for minutes in the double, but in 37 and 38, I think Mount's more safe for minutes. And specifically game week 38, Watford at home to finish off the season. Mason Mount is a fan favourite. I think Havertz and Mount will both start, but I feel more comfortable that Mount will start 3 of the remaining 4 games for Chelsea. And he's a little bit cheaper as well. Apologies. Ross, who is higher on predicted points, Cash or Mikalenko? I can find that out. I should have got FPL review up, really. Let me find... You won't be able to see this on your screen. I can let you know who's better for minutes out of projected... Sorry. I guess I could give this a go. Should we give it a go at getting it up? FPL review? Give FPL review a little bit of a shout out. Does anyone use FPL review, by the way? It's a cracking... God, I've got far too many tabs open and stuff like that. It's an absolutely cracking site. I've been using it a lot recently. I don't have like a template made for it though. Let's give it a go. Let's switch over to... Right, this is going to look a bit dodgy for a second, guys. Bear with me. Right, how awful is this? Okay, very awful. Let me zoom out a little bit. You're going to see some... Oh, you're going to see some live tinkering with OBS here, just so that we can get up FPL review. Bear with me for about 30 seconds. Every site's like set up slightly differently, I guess is the best way to explain this. So like they just shift around. So right, we're on FPL review here. You can search for some of the players. So who did we say? We wanted Mikalenko. So we just switched to all players here. I've got the premium version, by the way, but the free version's fine as well if you want to. Mikalenko versus Cash, was it? So for this week, Mikalenko is 6 points projected for this week and 14.2 overall. And then Matty Cash is 5 for this week and 13.8 overall. So basically, Matty Cash is expected to do slightly better in 37, slightly better overall. But this week, Mikolenko is actually coming out on top. I wonder what Mina's like. Yeah, Mina could be a good option as well, if you wanted to do that. So there you go. If there's anyone else you want me to check, let me know. Got a super chat as well. I've just missed. Jota, Mahrez, Jesus, and Zaha on free hit. Thoughts, please. Jota, Mahrez, Jesus, and Zaha. I don't know that I'd want Zaha particularly. Only playing once, unless you're that desperate to have Zaha in the team. Outside of that, I think Jota, Mahrez, and Jesus are all 3 fantastic options. For sure, for sure. Best defender under 5.4 million already have Matip. It depends for what weeks. Probably Matty Cash, Mina, Mikolenko, because they all double-double. Got a lovely iced coffee to keep us going for this stream. Right, what did you guys just say you wanted me to check? All right, screw it. Let's just do a little bit of FPL review then, because I'm getting a few other people asking for some stuff here. Right, this is not looking good. This is not looking good, guys. Give me a second. Give me a second here. I should be able to now zoom in a little bit. Would you guys be interested, by the way, in a video pre-season where I talk about YouTube and how to make videos and create content for FPL? Would anyone actually be interested in that? I'm obviously a fairly new YouTuber, but I know a lot of people ask about how to do some of this stuff, and yeah. Right. What did we want to hear then? Chuck, any players' projected points that you want courtesy of FPL review? Who do you want to see? Jota and Diaz. Yeah, so last night, Jota was actually projected, right? So the thing is with FPL review, by the way, if you've not used it before, with FPL review, it's all about expected minutes. So FPL review give their expected minutes, but if you change the expected minutes, the points change drastically. So Jota at the moment is projected to get 44 minutes per game on average across the remainder of the season, which means they're not projecting Jota to get a lot of minutes. But if you say, I actually think Jota's going to start most games and maybe get 60 minutes on average, so you can see Jota's minutes expected points will go from 13.2. If you just change that to 60, it now bumps up all the way to 17.3 and he becomes a fantastic option. Just the change of 16 extra minutes per game. So at the moment, because Jota's on 44 expected minutes, he's on 12.9, whereas Diaz, they've bumped Diaz's expected minutes up to 59, and now he's above Jota. So realistically, it just comes down to expected minutes again. If you expect Jota to get about the same as expected minutes as Diaz, Jota's actually probably a better option. But at the moment, FPL review are favouring Luis Diaz. So there we go. Havertz and Coutinho. Yep, let's do Havertz and Coutinho. So Havertz is, again, expected minutes at 54, which I think is probably reasonable, to be fair. 15.8 for Havertz, or 6.5 for this game week, right? If we look at Coutinho, much higher expected minutes, of course, 6.9 and 17.7. So FPL review across the season and also in this game week probably favours Coutinho. But again, if you expect Havertz to play quite a few minutes, I don't mind that, to be honest. KDH and Gordon, yeah, let's do that. It's going to be Gordon all the way. His data is just much better. So Gordon's projected to get 7.5 points, actually, which is quite high, to be fair. This game week, 16.9 points over the next 3 for Gordon. If we look at Dewsbury Hall, so you can see it's much, much, much lower. The reason for that is they've got his expected minutes quite low, and therefore he's just quite low overall. If we bump KDH up to 72 expected minutes, which is the same as Gordon, it bumps him up quite a lot, but still Gordon is the clear favourite. Why is Gordon so overrated? He's not overrated. His underlying data is very strong. His underlying data is really, really good. It's over the last 6 matches, he's got 0.5 expected goals, non-penalty expected goal involvement per 90. KDH is sitting at around sort of 0.2, 0.24. For me, there's no doubt in my mind that Gordon's the better option. Now, I'm not saying that means all of a sudden that he's going to outscore him. At the start of the week, the better option in my eyes, by some distance, is Gordon. That's just my opinion on it. Laporte and Alonso. Yeah, let's do Laporte and Alonso. Laporte is projected to get... so Laporte's got a very big for game week 36. He's got 71 expected minutes, 9 expected FPL points, and then 16.8 total. And then if we just switch to Alonso, pretty similar, to be honest. Better across the remainder of the season, slightly lower in game week 36. I wouldn't be switching Alonso and Laporte around. If you've got Laporte, keep Laporte. If you've got Alonso, I'd keep Alonso. I wouldn't be starting to switch those two because I think they're pretty similar, to be honest. Hi, Ross. Cancelo, Saka, Jesus, or Laporte, KDB, and Ketia? Cancelo, Saka, Jesus, or Laporte, KDB, and Ketia? Wow, that is a tricky one. For game week 36, I quite like the KDB one, but I think just overall the better option for me, the safer option, the more well-rounded option is Cancelo, Saka, and Jesus, Alex. So that would be my personal opinion on it. If you're enjoying the stream, please do drop a like on it. There's over 700 people watching live, which is super cool. So if you're one of those 700 that hasn't liked the stream, please drop a like. What other options? Reece James. Yeah, Reece James is actually projected to get a decent amount of minutes. But I actually do think that I would prefer to own Alonso for the back end of the season. But again, I wouldn't be switching James and Alonso around personally. I think if you've got James, if you've got Laporte, if you've got Cancelo, Robertson, Diaz, any of these premium defenders, I would just be keeping them. I would just be holding them and playing them, to be honest. Yeah, let's have a look at the Man City players. So Jesus, again, expected minutes is 56, which sounds quite low, but if you consider some games to be bench, 56 is actually pretty decent. 7.5 in game week 36, which is pretty decent there. If we look at Mahrez FPL review's not buying any of it. They've got his expected minutes pretty low, and therefore his total expected points pretty low as well. And then Foden's pretty similar in and around there. Again, this really just does come down to what you're doing with the expected minutes here. All FPL review can give you, based on their data and based on minutes, what you expect. If we just look at the top 50 players, just because I know a lot of people are asking there. So if we order this by game week 36, right? So I've ordered this just by 36. This is in order the players with the highest projected points for game week 36. Right? So Salah is projected to get the highest, Trent second, Saka third, Cancelo fourth, De Bruyne fifth, Mane sixth, Diaz seventh. You can see. So that's the full list there of players for game week 36. Ordered by 36, I should say. So I think there are tons of good options in here. It really does come down to trying to project expected minutes, to be honest. Ross, Watkins or Richarlison, please. Hold whoever has. I would just go for Richarlison personally. He's on penalties and he's got slightly better data in recent weeks. Right, guys. So hopefully that was a little bit helpful. Let's have a look back at the poll that I run. So, who scores the most points in game week 36? It's still pretty close. Havertz +4 is just about edging it at 29. Diaz at 26%. Foden at 27%. And then Jota all the way down at 18%, which is funny because I was actually leaning toward Jota all week. And I still think if I do take out Havertz, it would be one of Diaz and Jota. I might just keep Havertz, to be honest. Hey, lad, have my exam starting soon, so not on here for too long. Did Sterling, Brownhill to KDB, Gordon, and benched Ben Davies. No Son and KDB cap. Rank 63k views. Sounds perfect, mate. Really like that. What is your opinion on Bernardo Silva for the double? I'm not that keen on it, to be honest. Bernardo Silva is fantastic, and he will start the majority of minutes, and he can always score, but his data doesn't suggest that he's the sort of player that you want in your team, particularly. So, I don't know. I wouldn't hate that move, but I'm not overly keen on it. Do you think Nana Raptor has the best age to rank ratio in FPL history? Maybe. She's ranked 10,400th or something. Moment. She's been in and around 10k. She went to 7k at one point, but she's back to 10k now. But she's got the free hit active this week, and she's got a bench boost still to play in 37 or 38. She's almost definitely going to get a top 10k finish, which is just annoying because I spend about 10 hours a day doing FPL stuff, and I'm not at all. I'll show you. What has happened to my rank in recent weeks? Let's have a look here. Right, this is my season. Look how just upsettingly consistent I've been since around. So, by the way, I've only gone out the top 100k once this season, which is when I captained Havertz instead of Salah in game week 9, right? Look, my rank was pretty low, but it was just that big swing of Salah captaincy absolutely battered my rank. outside of that, I haven't been out the top 100k. And from game week 11, when I was ranked 34k, look at this. What on earth is that? It just haven't moved. And like, I've taken some big risks. I've tried rolling. I've tried going safe. I've tried going template. I've tried lots of different things. I've played chips in there. I've held my chips. You can see I actually had a -20 in there. I had a -12 in there. I had another -12. And these weeks where I was taking the hits, you can see, look at this set of weeks where I took all these big hits. I was getting green arrows. So you can't even say that taking the hits is the reason that I haven't done as well this season. Maybe I should have taken less hits. Like, the hits have actually been some of my better weeks. Even this, when I took the -12, straight back after that, I got a massive green because of that -12 that I took. So it's just been one of those seasons for me where, not that I can't catch a break because it's still a great rank, but I've just not had consecutively good weeks for long enough. All right, if we look at this, like whenever there's a set of like 2 or 3 greens, I'll just be hit with a few red arrows in a row. I don't think my decision making's been too bad. I think captaincy is absolutely, if you've been watching my videos all season, you'll know this. Captaincy's burnt me every single week almost. And just outside of that, I've just missed a few big hauls from the likes of Son. Like, I haven't owned Son at any point this season. So if we look at Son's 42 pointer and 38 pointer in the last 4 weeks, that would have been an extra like 80 points. And I've just missed those 80 points from Son there. So yeah, it's been a season of close but no cigar for me. But I'm still really happy with it, to be honest. But yeah, that's the sort of position we've been going. With respect to sort of transfers, like I said, I've made 2 free transfers for this week. I've got 1.1 million in the bank. So, sorry, just to remind you, this is the way that the team currently looks, right? Right, bench boost, obviously, playing all 15 players. It's just this Havertz spot here. Do I want to transfer out Havertz? And if I do, I've got up to 9 million. So I can go Mahrez, I can go Jota, I can go Diaz, I can go Foden. If we just switch it to midfielders, ordered by 9.3, right? So I've got Bowen, obviously I've just brought in Saka, I've got Jota. Let's not do that. Let's not do total points. I hate total points. We'll do transferred in this round. These are some of the options that a lot of other people have been bringing in, like Foden, Maddison, Diaz. Could go to Kulusevski, could go Bernardo Silva, Jota. Rodrigo has been brought in by 45,000 managers. 45,000 managers have brought in a CDM. I guess he's got 2 goals recently, but he's one of those players that could go crazy in double. I would not be bringing in Jota, Rodrigo myself, to be honest. Outside of that, Mahrez. I'd be honest. It's gonna, if I bring out Havertz, it's gonna be Jota or Diaz in that spot, right? If I do it, it's probably going to be Jota. It could be Diaz. Sorry, my camera's... Let me just reset my camera. It's lagging out a little bit. I know everyone else is really keen on Diaz. I just fancy a Jota haul. We've seen Jota this season. This is Jota's... He's got these in him. Look. And they don't come that often. If you get the right week, though... You're absolutely laughing. Like, this was very early on in the season, and I know it hasn't been this sort of way for a while, but 8-14-8, right? 5-16, 14-7-6. He goes on these little spells where he smashes it. And at the moment, I would agree. Diaz is definitely the clear favourite at the moment. But I do think that means Diaz starts the FA Cup final. And if he's going to start the FA Cup final, he probably doesn't start Spurs and Villa. So Jota's going to get at least one of the next 2. If we're saying Diaz doesn't start 3 in a row in the space for a week, and we're saying Mane needs a rest as well at some point, Jota's got to start both unless Bobby Firmino is back fit and they fancy playing Firmino in the Prem. I don't know. It's driving me absolutely crazy, this decision. But I guess if that is the case, you just keep Havertz, I guess, and you don't make the move. And then that gives me 1.1 million to play around with some stuff next week. That might be the sensible decision in my head here. Or do I just take a massive -8? Do I just take a massive -8 and bring in a couple of extra? Maybe I could get Diaz and Foden or Diaz and Jota or something like that. Who knows? Let's get this camera back on. I don't know, guys. I don't know. Let's get back to answering your questions because my team, God knows what I want to do with it. Let's just set that up back there. We've had such a similar season, consistent 3 or 4 green arrows, then 3 or 4 red arrows, always picking the wrong captains, though. It's how it feels to me this season. It's not been a bad season at all. It's just been one of those where it's been so close to an excellent season, and instead it's just been a very good season, which there's no issue with that. Best Ramsey replacement is definitely Gordon. Yeah, Bobby Firmino is fit but not match fit, and he's not played many minutes recently, if any. So I think with Firmino, it's a slight risk that he could come back in at some point, right? He could just come in, and that could mean that they all only play one game. It could be 37 he comes back in. So I guess the sensible move here is to just keep Havertz, which is what I'm leaning towards. Who is higher on projected points? You've asked that, and I've answered that already, Mikey. Cash across the remaining games, Mikalenko is slightly higher for 36. Best Ramsey replacement, if you already have Gordon, it depends how much money you've got, but it's probably got to be KDH then, hasn't it? Should I captain Vardy? I'm not sure I would. I don't think Vardy's going to start both. Hey, buddy, been on a downward trend the last 3 to 4 game weeks. Slipped from 100k to 160k. Looking to break through. Thoughts on going without Salah till the end? I don't mind it particularly. Like I don't think that there's that many players, unless you're going for KDB, in which I don't mind it. There's not that many great players outside of it that I think it's worth the risk. I think you could risk it, but I think Salah's going to get a few attacking returns at least. He's going to want to go for the golden boot. Liverpool have everything to play for. He's just had his rest as well. Can't see any reason why he doesn't play every second. Hey, Raptor, thinking about a change to not bench boosting, so no hits. I've got no free transfers with bench of Ramsey, White, and Rodriguez. Is it worth taking hits and downgrading some? I've got no free transfers. Ramsey, White, and Rodriguez. Is it worth taking hits and downgrading some? Maybe, maybe not. I assume you're saying you're not bench boosting, and that's your bench. Ramsey and White should be fine, I think. Rodriguez is obviously fine as well, only a single. I wouldn't take too many hits. You can maybe take one there if you want to, but I'm not that keen on it. TB12 says, love your work, never stop. Thank you very much. I don't plan on stopping. Cruel to Pickford or Pookie to Richarlison, thanks. Oh, that's a trick. So I obviously prefer Richarlison to Pookie, and I prefer Pickford to Cruel. That is a really tricky one. I'm not sure that Pickford's that much of a better choice than Cruel. Richarlison just looks like he could absolutely go off this week. I'd want to get Richarlison in, I think. You could do both of those moves, to be fair. I think I'd be keener on Richarlison, to be honest. Laporte or Jesus on a free hit? Good question. I'd go Laporte, to be honest. I was going to say I'll go for the upside in Jesus, but the upside is there with Laporte anyway. He's a great goal threat. He's obviously on the end of a lot of set pieces. So yeah, I would probably be looking at Laporte still, because I think there's a lot of good striking options. I think you've got Nketiah, Richarlison, Watkins, Pookie. You've got enough decent options up top that you might want to choose instead. Ramsey, Werner, and Broja to KDH, Jesus, and Nketiah. Can you afford Gordon? Oh, you said you've got Gordon already. Yeah, I don't mind that then. Yeah, I don't mind that as an option. What do you think about Maddison's minutes? I think Maddison's going to be rotated a little bit, but Sam Martin over on Twitter, he's a Leicester in the know account, also a massive fan, so he follows them quite closely. He seems to think Maddison will start 4 of the next 5. If that's the case, then Maddison's a fantastic option that's going massively under the radar. I think the issue is that if that hip injury is really playing him up and Sam's wrong, then I think Maddison will start 3 of the next 5, in which case I think you've got better options there. Hi, Ross. I'm considering a -20 to bench boost involves selling Kane for Richarlison and triple City defence. I don't mind a hit on a bench boost, but if you're taking a -22 bench boost, a good bench boost score is 20 points. I'm not keen on a hit that big, but go for it. If you want to have some fun with it, it is FPL. That's the whole point of it. Hey, Raptor, did you do your transfers or what is your plan? I just got in. Sorry if you've answered already. That's fine. I know I don't have it on screen. So I've already made 2 transfers. They were free transfers. I've taken out Gelhardt and Sterling for Richarlison and Saka. So Richarlison and Saka are my 2 free transfers in. I'm just deciding on that final. Do I want to take a -4 to take out Havertz for Diaz, Jota, or Foden? I'll be honest, at the moment, if I'm going to do it, I'm probably leaning towards Havertz to Jota. So it's basically Havertz plus 4 points or Jota. Do you think it's worth the risk captaining Cancelo over Salah if Cancelo is your only City defender? I don't think it matters if he's your only City defender. I just think, look at who you think is going to score more points. I think there's a very good chance that Cancelo gets a clean sheet in one of them. Probably not both, just the way it rolls. I don't think there's a good chance of both. So let's say that he gets a clean sheet and 2 bonus for Cancelo in one. 8 points, plays the other, concedes, gets 2 points. I think Cancelo, a realistic score for Cancelo in this double is 10 points. Can Salah outscore 10? Yeah. So that's why I've decided to go for Salah. I just think that unless you're expecting 2 clean sheets from Cancelo, or unless you're expecting a clean sheet and an attacking return, which again, Cancelo's not got that many attacking returns this season. If we just have a look here. So goals, he's got 1, and assists, he's got 9, right? So he's got quite a few assists, to be fair. Are you expecting a goal? Probably not. He's only got 1 all season. Are you expecting maybe an assist? I guess you could potentially get an assist, but it's difficult to try and predict that. I don't think you're probably likely to get more than 15 points from Cancelo, pushing 18, but Salah can absolutely demolish that in one game. So I still think I prefer Salah, but I don't dislike the Cancelo captaincy. Of course, he's got my Vice armband, so I still like him a lot as an option. Laporte or Diaz because of rotation? I prefer Ruben Diaz slightly for 36, but across the remainder of the season, I think it's a pretty close call. Why do you not want Havertz? I don't want Havertz because he's just not been playing well recently. And also, I think, obviously, Havertz is got direct rotation with Lukaku. In Tuchel's press conference, he said something like, is Lukaku going to start? He said maybe he could. And I think he basically praised Lukaku, said we've got an absolutely top striker. It just made it sound like Lukaku's making his way back into Tuchel's thinking. I still don't know. We've only got about an hour till deadline. I'm very tempted by Havertz to Jota and just rolling with it. And if Havertz hauls, Havertz hauls. Do you know what I mean? It's one of those you've got to shoot your shot. You've got to try these things sometimes. Sorry, my last message was messy, Ross. I haven't heard anyone talking about Ismail Assar. No worries about the messy. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. I haven't heard anyone talking about Ismail Assar with a nice double, in my opinion. Is Watford just that much of an avoid? No, I think he's fine, to be honest. One of my sets of transfers involved bringing in Ismail Assar for this week. I didn't like the others and I preferred other players, but I don't mind Ismail Assar at all. I think especially if you're on a bench boost, he's a great option. I just think you won't want him for 37 or 38 particularly. So it's a 1 week move. And I think outside, you could probably go for the likes of Gordon is probably a better option for much cheaper. I'm sticking with Sterling captain. Good luck to you, Mike. If Sterling hauls, you deserve it for holding on. I just couldn't hold on any longer. I needed Richarlison in my team. I wanted Saka in my team. And I just didn't want to continue to hold Sterling at 10.5 mil. He just wasn't delivering. And I also think he's probably only going to start one of the games in the double. So, there we go. Got a super chat from Luke. Says, who leaves for KDB? Free hit in 37. Mount, Kulusevski, Maddison. Free hit in 37. Well, that's a tricky decision, isn't it? Kulusevski, probably, for me. I just don't like his... Yeah, probably Kulusevski. If you're looking at 36 and 38 combined, Mount's fixture in 38 is just so nice that I think I'd want him. And I think Maddison's double this week is so nice that I'd want him for that. So it'd probably be Kulusevski. Best midfielder under £5 million on a bench boost, 100% Gordon. Outside of that, it would be KDH. I don't think there are any other options that I'd want outside of that under 5 mil. Brett says, Raptor, love your work. Thank you very much. Mount and Gelhardt to Saka and Dennis. I don't mind that. I'd prefer Nketiah, though, if you're going to go for a striker under 6 mil or around sort of under the 6 mil. Could go for Pookie, of course, but I think I'd be all over Nketiah, unless you've already got him, of course. Is a -8 okay if you're bench boosting? It depends, right? Because my bench boost isn't going to change if I take more hits. So I'm not taking hits to get out a better bench boost. I would be taking hits to make my 11 better. So the hits and the bench boost are two separate things. If you're taking hits to bench boost, i.e. you're taking hits to upgrade your bench, I think a -8 is about as far as you'd want to go, because a -8, if you get 16 points on your bench boost, but you've taken 8 points to get to that bench boost, you're only going to gain 8 points from the bench. So does that make sense? It depends what the hits are for. If the hits are to better your 11 and it's independent of your bench boost, I don't mind that at all. You need to try and think about these things. I know it doesn't really matter because all 15 players are getting points, but that will give you a bit of an idea, I suppose, about whether it's worth it to take those hits. Hi, Russ. What are your thoughts on Iheanacho, or should I go for Richarlison? I think Iheanacho's fine. I think it will definitely start one, probably come off the bench in the second one. I prefer Richarlison, though. What about Barnes out, Luis Diaz in? Yeah, I don't mind that. Again, Barnes has a good double, could start both, but he's just not looked great recently. What makes you think Jota, Diaz, Foden outscore Havertz with 4 points? I just think Havertz has looked so pants recently, to be honest. But again, his data's not much worse than Jota and Diaz and Foden. So, yeah, I don't know. That's the reason that I'm currently tempted to keep him. I just fancy a punt on Jota. I just think Jota could do fairly well, but we'll have to wait and see. I just realised I've got that graphic just to mix up what you can see on your screen. Best strikers over the last 6 game weeks, if you're interested. Got a super chat. I'm not going to try and pronounce your name, but thank you very much for the super chat. I have James, Arnold, Trent Alexander-Arnold, and Gabriel in defence, and KDB and Salah. Is it crucial to have City defence? It's not crucial, no, but I would be shocked if they don't keep at least 1 clean sheet, and they're going to have over 100% effective ownership. So as long as the players that you've got match or better the City defence, you're absolutely fine. I don't think it's absolutely crucial to have one, no. Again, they can concede sloppy goals. We've seen that recently. But don't be shocked, obviously, if City keep a double clean sheet. You've got to be willing for that to be a reasonable possibility. Surely with Lampard's comments, Richarlison only starts 1 at most. He said that he picked up a knock in the Liverpool game. After the Liverpool game, he then played another 80 minutes against Chelsea. I think he'll play both. I think he'll just maybe come off slightly early. FPL Focal says Mateta doesn't start. Yeah, okay. Let's have a look. I obviously don't own Mateta anyway. There you go. If you're interested. So Oscar's not in the no account. Oscar is signed up to like a forum where they talk about the early Crystal Palace team news. Apparently Mateta doesn't start. So if you're bench boosting this week with Mateta, it's probably worth the -4 to take Mateta out for João Pedro, Nketiah, Dennis, Pukki, whoever it may be. Just because, just through appearance points alone, you'd hope they'd make up that thing. Unless, of course, Mateta scores off the bench, which is out of my control to try and predict. Focal's never been wrong before because, like I said, he's getting it off of a forum where the same guy uploads the team to the forum every single week. So I would feel fairly comfortable and confident that that Mateta's on the bench. I can give you something different to look at. We'll try and mix up the screen because I know it's boring to look at the screen, the same screen every single time. The bench is slightly different here. Right, the bench changes. My bench boost, it would be Alonso, Pukki, or Watkins on the bench. It doesn't really matter, to be honest. But that is the way the 11 looks. I'm pretty sure that's the same team. Would you sell White for a hit? No, I wouldn't. Lukaku or Werner? Neither. I think they're both only likely to play 1. Just neither. Jesus, I'd prefer, if you're going to go for like a riskier striker. Thoughts on Jesus was the next question. Yeah, I think he's fine. I don't think he's going to start both, but I think he'll get reasonable minutes. I think he'll start 3 of them remaining 4 games. So yeah, I like Jesus as a pump. Foden or KDB? I would probably go... It's KDB for me. It's got to be KDB. Luke has become a member. Massively appreciate the support, Luke. Welcome to the Raptor family. I appreciate that very much. Drop me a message on Discord and I'll get you... Join the Discord first, link in the description. And then I'll get you added to the Discord as a Rap Tier 2 member. Rudiger or Alonso on free here? It's got to be Alonso for me. Hey, Raptor, great content this season. Loving it. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. What are your thoughts on James out for Diaz or Laporte for a -4? I assume you mean Ruben Diaz, not obviously Luis Diaz. No, I'd keep James. Adams to Pookie for a -4. Yeah, probably. What do you think about a punt on Maddison or just play safe with Saka? I played it. No, it's not even playing it safe. I just played it with the player that's dead cert for starts and's on penalties. So there you go. Just seeing we've just got a super chat. Great job. Love watching your videos. Thank you very much. A Runjip. Sorry if I butchered your name there. My question is, if you had Son, would you get KDB for a hit? Or Pickford is a better and smarter choice? I don't know who your current keeper is, so it's difficult to tell there. I would keep Son, to be honest, so I'd probably go for the Pickford move. Not that I don't think KDB is a fantastic option. I just don't think it's worth moving out Son for KDB, if that makes sense. If I had a straight shootout, I'd actually probably lean towards KDB, but it's not worth a transfer in my head. For my FPL league, should I start Ronaldo or Werner? I'd probably start Ronaldo. I don't know. There's a chance Werner plays both, I guess. I don't think he will, but maybe you just go for the doubler just in case. There's always the risk that Werner starts both and he's on your bench. Chris has been a member for 3 months. Thank you very much, Chris. Appreciate that. You sell Sterling. Yeah, I sold Sterling for Saka. Let me put it. I prefer looking at it like this, to be honest. That's the team. The transfers were Gelhardt and Sterling out for Richarlison and Saka. But Jota is a much bigger rotation risk than Havertz, and after what Diaz did in the Champions League, he should start. Even Ben Dinnery predicted Diaz to start over Jota. There's two things to note here, Zodiac. Number one, Ben Dinnery doesn't know. Ben Dinnery's an injury expert. Often those predicted lineups are just wrong. So I'd take everything that comes from there with a pinch of salt. The second thing is, I actually do expect or think that Diaz has a good chance of starting potentially against Tottenham. That doesn't mean that he's going to start against Villa as well. I'm not saying that I don't think Diaz will start one of the next two. I'm thinking that Jota might start one of the next two. I think we could quite easily see a front three of Diaz, Jota, and Salah, or Jota, Mane, and Salah, potentially in the starting 11. Everyone's guessing. There is no one person, apart from the managers and the players for these teams, that know any more than us fans. We're just guessing randomly here. Do you think Walker will start, mate? I'd be surprised if he does. Look like he reactivated his injury. I don't think there's any need for them to. I think it will be a back four of Cancelo, Laporte, Diaz, and then one of Zinchenko and Ake. I'd probably lean towards Zinchenko, but I think we could see any number of players in that left back role. Could potentially see Cancelo in at left back and Walker in at right back, but there's just no need to risk Walker. There was a need, not a need, but there was a desire to risk Walker in the Champions League, obviously because he was playing up against Vinicius Jr. Emerson Royale on a bench boost. I probably prefer Sessegnon if you're going to go for one, Jack, but I don't mind it. I wouldn't expect any clean sheets for Tottenham, let's put it that way. Will says, anyone considering becoming a member this season or next season should absolutely do it. So glad I did. I appreciate that, Will. And I appreciate you becoming a member as well. I think we're sat on something like not 85 or 90 members. That's absolutely amazing. I can't wait for next season to grow our little family as well. So thank you, Will. Would you captain KDB if you had him? 100%. Yeah, I'd have to go for it. And this is why I was so desperate to get him in, because I think he's a great captaincy shout. Obviously, there's the risk of not captaining Salah, but for me, KDB's the only one that even comes close to rivaling Salah this week. And I've had to nip it. I keep thinking, oh, should I captain Cancelo? I don't think it's the right decision this week for me. In my heart, I think I've got enough differentials. I've got the bench boost in play. I've already brought in the likes. I think Richarlison, Alonso, Laporte, they're going to be fairly lowly owned. Cash, Gordon. I've got enough players in here to not have to take a massive risk with the captaincy. Hey, bruv. Good to see you, my man, Chris. Diaz in for Robertson for a -4. Robertson back for 38. I don't like, if you're going to want Robertson back in 38, no, because then that's 2 transfers. If you're happy just leaving Robertson out of your team, I don't mind it, to be honest, because I don't think he'll start both. So you need to decide, Chris. If you're that desperate for Robertson in 38, just keep him, because Robertson will play in 37 and 38 as well. So that would be my answer for you. Frederick says, I'm benching James over Kulusevski and Cash at the moment. I think you're absolutely crazy, Fred, but if you want to go for it. My reasoning for not benching James is He's almost definitely going to start the Wolves game, right? They've had basically a full week off here. And I think as a result, he'll start in the right wing-back role. So you're getting a right wing-back Reece James against an absolutely shocking-looking Wolves side at the moment. And then I don't see any reason, due to they've actually got a reasonable gap in between games and they've just had a week off. I don't see any reason desperately why he wouldn't start at right centre-back against Leeds. So if you're saying a right wing-back James against Wolves and then maybe a right centre-back against Leeds, I'd prefer that to Kulusevski and Cash. I don't think Cash will keep a clean sheet in this double. That's why he's third sub. I know I'm bench boosting, but that's why I wouldn't have him. So, listen, you've made some really good decisions this year, Frederick. But if you, it's up to you, to be honest. I'm not going to try and convince you to start James, but I would not be benching James. Hey, Reef has just become a Rap Tier 2 supporter. Thank you also for becoming a member. If any of you guys want to become members, by the way, let me find the link for you. I know a lot of people are always asking. You can either just click the join button next to the subscribe button or this. Where's the link? There's the link. If you want to become a member of the channel, right? Obviously, if you want like personalized feedback, if you want to chat one-on-one, if you want to get all of the perks, you have to be a Rap Tier supporter, Rap Tier 2, Rap Tier 1, sorry. But Rap Tier 2 is 99p a month, so why not? Matt says, hiya, pal. Good to see you, Matt. Thank you for being here. Already on a -8. Would you take another hit to take out Ramsey? And if so, for who? On a bench boost this week with Tavares, Ramsey, and Saiss. Yeah, if you're on a bench boost, you've probably got to do it. Like, there's a chance he's back fit for the second game. I guess there's a chance he's fit for the first one as well. It just doesn't look very good. It would be for Gordon. If you've already got Gordon, I'm not sure it's worth another -4 for KDH. It's tough because you've got the bench boost in play. I'd want to do it, I think. What are your final transfers, Ross? I've obviously already brought in Saka and Richarlison for Gelhardt and Sterling. It's just that final spot. Am I going to take out Havertz for a hit? I don't know yet. Reefer says, hey, Raptor, we'd love to know what's your plan for 37 in brief. Yeah, I can show you that. Let's move on to FPL.team. I'll get back to your questions in 2 seconds. I'm just going to show you what my plan is for 37. Right, we're on FPL.team, by the way, if you want to give it a go. Right. So this is the team for 36. Assuming that I keep Havertz, right? Let's go through to 37. Gordon obviously comes in. And Cash comes in for... God, this is going to be a nightmare trying to work out who I want to bench here. It would be for... This is going to be a real issue to try and work this out for 37, right? Because there's a lot of good single game week players, but I'm obviously going to want to at least play my doublers, and I'm going to potentially want to bring in another doubler as well. But Cash would be coming in probably for one of Havertz and Mount, whoever I think is less likely to play. All right, let's say it's Havertz for now. It might be that I want to play a Havertz instead of Salah. Saka, sorry, not Salah, of course not Salah. And I will be captaining probably Richarlison. Right, so this is without any transfers. 1.1 in the bank. My issue I've got here is that my team for 38 is worse than my team for 37. And I don't think I desperately need any transfers for 37 here. I mean, let me know, guys. Let me just quickly get the chat back up. What would you do anything with this team in 37? Considering you'd have to bench some of these players, right? Yash says no Jota then, Ross. I don't know at the moment, Yash. I don't know at the moment, my man. I might still bring in Jota for Havertz. I haven't fully committed to that position at the moment. Would you do anything with this team for 37? One free transfer, 1.1 million in the bank. Son could hurt you, yes. But my thinking here is I've got 1.1 million in the bank. I think I'd rather just do Son in game week 38. I don't need to bring Son in here. Yes, it's a decent fixture against Burnley, but I'm not sure that I desperately need to do that for 37. Right, so that's the team. What I'm then thinking is if I can roll a transfer through to 38, this will be the team for 38. Let me just get the players in. I think here, it's much more useful here to have the 2 free transfers. So what I'm currently thinking about doing is I'm going to want Son in, right? And I'm going to want Son in for Gordon for that position there. Right, but obviously I need to find a lot of money to do that. And it will be in for there. So I'd probably get Tony up top here. Right, and then I need to find 4.7. Right, so I'm probably going to be unable to do that, aren't I? Unless I decide to take... How many? Yeah. Okay, so it wouldn't be that move then. Okay, let's scrap that then. It could be that I go for Kane as a mega differential. Let's throw that back then and try that the other way then. I think I'm going to have the same sort of issue though. If I try and go for Kane in this spot, Kulusevski in this spot. Yeah, I need to find 5.6 still, so that's still an issue. Right, let me put the players back in. I guess what I'm saying here is I'm essentially going to want... I've got a decent, like, sort of basic setup for 38, but I think 2 free transfers in 38 is going to be more useful. You can see there's a few different things that I can play around with. I think I'd want to bring Kulusevski in, if I think he's going to start. And I'd probably want to bring Son in, maybe for Havertz or Mount. If I think if there's a good inkling, maybe if we get some early team news, that Havertz or Mount aren't going to start, I could do that. So it wouldn't be Richarlison. It wouldn't be Kulusevski, right? It would be Gordon. So I'd be bringing in Son for Havertz or Mount. And then maybe just Tony in this spot here. And then I would just need to find 1.3 million, right? So at this stage, it would probably be Watkins down to another striker at 6.1 that I've got. Or it would be potentially maybe Matty Cash down to a cheaper defender, right? I've got a few different options there. Essentially, I'm going to want to get Sonny or Kane in for captaincy in 38. And I just think that the 2 free transfers there is more important, considering my team looks pretty good for 37. So this is my rough plan. It's going to be something like that. And then there'll be someone else in this spot. I'm trying to think who's got good fixtures in 38. Can't remember what the fixtures are in 38. For strikers, cheap strikers. Nketiah maybe against Everton. Could be a decent option. Who else we got? Maybe a Burnley or Newcastle striker potentially could go for. It might be, yeah. Okay, so let's go back to that then. It would be something, I don't know. Let's try getting Nketiah in. Okay, so I think my team will look something like that for 38 if we go through. So just to run you back once more through, game week 36 is going to probably look like this. 37, something like this. And then 38, probably something like that. Which I'm pretty happy with. And that would involve no hits at any point. Oh, no, sorry, it would be 1 -4 in game week 38 to get that team. So there we go. Hopefully that's useful for you. Obviously, I don't know exactly what I'm going to be doing in these weeks, but that's the general rough plan. Hopefully that helped for those of you that wanted to see my plan for game week 37. Right, I'm getting back to the chat now. Make sure to drop your questions in the chat. Also, if you're enjoying the live stream today, please do drop a like. Make sure you've subscribed as well. I do massively appreciate the support. We're trying to basically hit 15,000 subscribers. If you want to know why I'm pushing a little bit, I'm going to try hit 15,000 subscribers by the end of the season. So if you've not subscribed yet, please do. And also, if you've got any friends that you know play FPL and you want to introduce them to a new channel, then please do pass it on. Make sure to share the stream, stuff like that. I massively do appreciate it. I'm going to really, really try and push for those 15,000 subscribers. Have you settled on Richarlison, Saka in and keeping Havertz? So Richarlison and Saka are in. This is my team. Havertz, I haven't settled on at all. No idea, guys. Make sure to vote on the poll. We've got over 1,000 votes, and it's currently leaning towards keeping Havertz. I also run a similar poll over on Twitter, and I think we got a similar sort of result as well. Most people thinking maybe keep the boy Kai. What did the poll? Yeah, the poll ended with 37.5% on keep Kai. So maybe I do keep Havertz. So many people have sold Havertz this week that if he pops off, it's a massive differential. And to be honest, if he doesn't start against Wolves, which looks quite likely based on what Tuchel said, I'd get maybe Havertz for 70 to 90 minutes against Leeds, which looks like a pretty nice fixture for him. And if he starts against Wolves, there's a chance he comes off the bench against Leeds to just keep him a little bit of momentum going for game week 30, for the FA Cup final, sorry. I don't know. Again, we're just guessing at this stage, aren't we? No one knows the truth. Yeah, Firmino's bothering me a little bit, you know. Dennis or Pookie, please stop spamming in the chat, by the way. If I'm not answered your question, I will get around to answering the question at some point. Dennis or Pookie, I would be going for Pookie personally. Veghorst and Nketiah for -4. Yeah, sounds good to me, Charlie. I like that. Jack says, Sanchez, Ramsey, and Veghorst to Schmeichel, Gordon, and Nketiah. Yeah. Even for a -8, that just looks very nice. Yeah, I'd probably do that. Is Lookman a good pick? I think Lookman will start one, not both. So I'm not confident that any of the Leicester attackers will start both. So as a result, the only one I'd be tempted by is Maddison, probably. Just because even if he doesn't start both, his data's been very good. And he's just got that whole potential in him. There are just certain players that have that ability to just absolutely go crazy and haul, and he's one of them. And Nketiah or Watkins, I actually probably slightly prefer Nketiah, you know. Ross, please, Mateta replacement. I have Kane and Nketiah. It's probably Dennis Pookie or João Pedro, I guess. If you can get to Richarlison, got to be Richarlison, but I assume you can't afford him based on the price point you've given me. Havertz to Diaz from -4. I don't know. If I knew the answer to that, I'd know the answer to my own problem, which is, do I sell Havertz for -4? I'm currently thinking I'm just going to keep him, to be honest. Is -12 bad for bench boost team? Again, it's not bad if you're taking the -12 to better your 11 and your bench boost is staying similar. Like I said, if I took a -8, it would be to get Havertz and Mount out of my team. For example, just as an example, I'm not going to do that. It wouldn't be to make my bench better. If you're taking a -12 to make the bench players you've got in your team better, then yes, I don't think that's worth it because you're not going to get more than about 20 points likely from a bench boost anyway. Zedek says, why Nketiah over Watkins? I think Nketiah's got slightly better underlying data with respect to sort of touches and shots in the box. And also, I just prefer the Leeds fixture. I actually think the double's very, very tricky for Villa. I think Burnley have got everything to play for and it's at Turf Moor. And then Liverpool is just a tricky fixture anyway. So I don't like the double that much for Watkins. I still think he's a good option. Obviously, he's in my starting 11. I'm going to have him in my team. But I think there are potentially slightly better options out there, such as Nketiah. If I were choosing this week, I'd be on Nketiah. Did you sell Sterling? Yeah, I did, Shane. I sold Sterling for Saka, and just to allow me to get Richarlison in for Gelhardt. By the way, we've got about 45 minutes till the deadline, so plenty of time, but just make sure that you're getting those teams sorted relatively soon. Don't wait too last minute. By the way, Mateta is benched, is the news. I can just get that up again. Just for those of you that are wondering, in case you've got a bench boost with Mateta on, or you're starting Mateta, I'll just find the tweet from my main man, Oscar, FPL Focal, who's probably live streaming right now. Right, that is from your main man, FPL Focal. Says Mateta's bench. So if you like I said, if you've got a bench boost with Mateta, it's probably worth taking him out for a hit. Only one fixture. Yes, it's a good fixture, but if he's not likely to play it, or he's only likely to come off the bench, then Nketiah or Richarlison, free hit 37. That's very close for me. I'd still go Richarlison, but it makes me think that Nketiah could be the slightly better option because I prefer Nketiah's fixture in 38. So I don't mind either. Can you do a tweet and we post teams so you can maybe help us, please? Yeah, we could do that. I don't know how well I'm set up for Twitter is the only issue. Let's have a quick look now. Yeah, let me do that. I can do that. 2 seconds, guys. Right, I'm going to put out a tweet and you can reply to it and I'll go through them on the stream and help out. There you go. Right. If you start slapping your teams under here, guys, I'm going to get that tweet up and I can go through your teams and have a look at them. Right. So if you click on that tweet, post a picture of your team, please give me some sort of dilemma. Don't just say thoughts. I'm not going to answer them because that would take too long. Right. Try and give me a bit of information. Are you on your free hit next week? Have you got a bench boost? Try and give me as much information as possible. Give me your dilemmas under that tweet and I'll do my best to answer some of them. And I'm just going to try and get this tweet up onto this screen here. God, that is incredibly zoomed in, isn't it? Very, very zoomed in. Let me go over to this one. Right. Is that going to work? How's that going to look when it comes up? Yeah, it's not too bad, is it? It's not too bad. By the way, guys, this is my Twitter. Do go over and follow me at FPL at FPL _ Raptor __. This is me here. We just hit 33,000 followers, which is really cool. Like I said, go drop your teams on that tweet. We're going to have a look at some of them. Oh, my bloody camera. Go away, silly camera. Keep freezing on OBS. Give me a second to just let the camera load. And I'll continue answering some questions in the chat whilst we wait for that. I'll just drop that tweet again. Go over to that tweet, give it a like, give it a retweet. Make sure you follow me and then drop your dilemmas on that tweet as well, and I'll go through them. Do you think Foden outscores Son this week? No, I don't. I think Son will outscore Foden. Holgate or Tavares over White by a -4. Holgate over White by -4. I think I think I just keep White, but I think I'd rather go for Tavares out of Hull. If you make that move, I'd rather go for Tavares. Buy Don for 37. I assume you mean Son. Yeah, I might buy Son for 37. We'll have to wait and see. James to Diaz for a -4. No, I'd be keeping James. Ross, please. Okay, I'll help you out. Rafinha for Gordon and Broja for Nketiah -8 bench boost. I have Tony. Yeah, I'd probably do those moves. Although -8 doesn't seem great to me, but I still think those moves are all right, to be honest. Please don't spam the same question over and over again. Just be polite. Ask it once, and if I see it, I see it. Or ask it a few times. Don't have to keep asking the same one. Right, let me try and get the camera back on, and then we'll go through some of your tweets. Right, we've got 40 people have posted their thing already. Where's my OBS? Right. Here I am. Let's do this. Thanks for doing this. Right, FPL Magpie says, KDH to Erdegaard worth a -4 on my bench boost. Right, it's going to be too big to do it like that. So we'll just go back. I'll just keep it like that. Right. KDH to Erdegaard worth a -4 on a bench boost. No, I wouldn't do that, mate. I'd keep KDH. But that's a really nice looking bench boost, to be honest. I'm a big fan of that. Really nice bench. Foster, Pookie, Gordon. KDH is perfect for a bench boost. Like, there's a chance he misses one. I don't think Erdegaard's statistics back it enough for me to make that move. So, yeah, I would say no in my one. Polkit says, A, keep Watkins and roll transfer. B, Watkins to Richarlison. I'd be tempted to make the move, to be honest, but you are risking it with Watkins with a decent fixture against Burnley and also a double next week. I would probably roll the transfer, Polkit, but I don't mind it if you fancy it. Would you do Kane and Coutinho to KDB and Nketiah for a -4, free hit 37? Yes, I would. Yeah, I'd do it. Especially because you're free hitting 37, you don't need Coutinho. I don't think Coutinho is a great option this week. KDB and Nketiah are very good options. And again, if you want to free hit Kane back in for 37, you can do so. So yeah, I'd probably make that move. Really struggling on who to bench. I'm just going to like the ones that I've done, just so that I know. Apologies. Really struggling on who to bench out of these. What would you do? I'd probably bench Matty Cash if that was my team. I'd probably start Kulusevski and bench Cash. Mate, I'd have Kulusevski probably ahead of both of you Villa boys. That's a very tight one though. I think that's a pretty close call. But yeah, Cash for me, I can't see that much from Cash in this double. I hope so because I've got him on my bench boost, but I can't see that much to be honest. Dilemma: Robertson to Cash, Mount to Son, -8, no free hit left. I wouldn't -8 that. No, I think Son's a really good option though, isn't he? No free hit left. You do get an extra fixture with Cash next week. If that was for free, I'd go, yeah, definitely. But for the -8, seems quite heavy. I can't give you an exact answer on that, Dan. I think it's probably quite a lot for a -8. But if you fancy it, depends on your rank, depends on what your goals are for this season, I guess. Took a -8 for this team. Also don't have a bench boost, as you see. Thoughts? Yeah, looks good to me. You've got a few cheeky punts in there, like Erdegaard and Dennis. Could go really well for you. I think that's a fine. At least you've got 11 doublers as well. For sure. Sterling to Mahrez or roll. I don't think Sterling to Mahrez is worth it for me. I'd roll the transfer. I think with Sterling to Mahrez, you're probably only going to get one game from each. And Sterling's stats are still as good as Mahrez's. He just needs to start taking some of those opportunities. So, yeah. Who should I cap? Salah or Saka? Salah. Schmeichel or Pickford, 36 only. Pickford, probably. Is it worth doing it Sarr to Edison for a -4? Yes, I do think so. 2.5 million in the bank, two free transfers, 1.5 million in the bank. Havertz, Broja, Richardson to Gordon, Richarlison, and Nketiah. Same moves and Amati to Cash for a -8. Something different. I'd be tempted by the -8, to be honest, Finn. But definitely the -4 looks good to me. I wouldn't do something different. I think the -4 that you've recommended is really nice. Richardson and Broja are really not good options, obviously, for this week. Havertz is fine as a bit of a cash cow to allow you to get Richarlison and Nketiah. I do quite like Amati to Cash for -4. The only thing is, like I said, I'm not expecting that much from Cash anyway. If Amati starts one of the two games, clean sheet's quite possible. So maybe just the -4. Maybe I'd probably lean towards A if I had to decide. White, Sterling. God, that's a lot of text. I'll come back to that one. Try and give it as without as much text as possible. Hey Ross, already did Doherty to Laporte and Weghorst to Nketiah. Struggling to decide between Ramsey to Foden and playing Havertz, or Havertz to Foden and Share to Cancelo and play 5 at the back. I quite like getting Cancelo in, to be honest, mate. I'm not that keen on Havertz to Foden. Like that's the reason I haven't done it. But to also get Cancelo in, maybe do that. And then who would you bench is the only issue if you do that. I guess you'd bench Ramsey, right? Yeah, I'd probably do that. I'd probably do the Cancelo move and play 5 at the back. Laporte or Alonso to bring in. Alonso for me. He's got the attacking potential. Took a -8 for this team. Should I start like this? Yeah, I think that's fine. I mean, you've already taken the -8, so all you're looking for is a little nod. I like it. It looks like a good team to me. Hi, Ross. Leading my mini league. Only have 1 free transfer left. Overall 7k, so great rank. Planned moves. Tierney to Mikalenko, Weghorst to Nketiah for a -4. Yes, perfect. Yeah. I like Mikalenko. I think I maybe slightly prefer Mina if you think he's going to start both, but I like both of them as options, and I think you're fine choosing either. Holgate or Tavares for a bench boost defender. I'd go Tavares. Coutinho and Gelhardt out for Richarlison and Gordon. Davies and Gelhardt out for Dennis and Matip. Coutinho and Gelhardt out for Richarlison and Gordon. Davies and Gelhardt. A. Got to be A for me. I'd go for A. Bench boosting and don't know which option to go for. God, that's a lot of information to go. I'll quickly go for it. Gelhardt. Okay, that's okay. That one, probably. It's difficult to tell. I haven't thought about it as much as you. I like the idea of getting Richarlison in. You've also getting Nketiah and Gordon. I mean, you are losing Havertz, but that one seems like it's got the best players coming in at the very least. And yeah, I don't mind a -8 if you're bringing in good players for it. Overall 90k, planning to get in KDB, Watkins, Jota, another hit for Trent. Sounds okay-ish. getting KDB, Watkins, Jota. I don't know about selling Havertz and Salah, but if you really fancy it, go for it if you really want to push on. I'm not sure that I would be removing Salah before a double game week, ever. How many more we got? Okay, this is okay. Guys, I'm not gonna be able to get through all of these. I'll come back to this tweet in a bit then. That's gonna. How many replies have we got on it? Yes, 84 replies. I'll come back to this in a bit. We'll go back to the chat because I don't want to neglect the YouTube chat as well. Yeah, we'll come back to that in 2 seconds. Let's get back to the YouTube chat and have a look what people are saying. Just make sure I haven't missed any super chats as well, which I have. Right. How many other super chats? It's just those two, right? I'm going to get onto your 2 super chats. So the guys that gave you super chats, don't worry, I can see them right now. First one from Felipe says, or Felipe, let's go Felipe, says, just heard Mateta news, only have 5.3 million in the bank. Anyone worth transferring in for a hit? Already took a hit as well, thanks. 5.3. It's probably only Rodriguez, right? But he's only got a single fixture as well. I'm trying to think, there's not, because like Nketiah, João Pedro are both more expensive. Just trying to have a look for you. Yeah, you've got really no one. Vidra and Rodriguez, but they only play once, and I wouldn't like to try and predict who's going to start. If Rodriguez is still injured, it would be Vidra. You could take a punt on Gelhardt starting one or getting an attacking return. I'm not sure. I'd maybe just keep Mateta then. It's a shame that you don't have 5.4 because if you have 5.4, you probably just go for João Pedro. Yeah, that's a difficult one. Sorry, Felipe. I don't think there are any, to be honest. I think you're just a bit unlucky at your price point there, to be honest. And then the other super chat was from Jonathan. Crazy -16 thoughts. Okay, Jonathan. Right, let's hear this. Free transfers: Seiss to Simicas, Robertson to Matip. Yeah. Okay. Seiss to Simicas. Why Simicas? He's only going to play probably one game for the remainder of the season. I don't like Seiss to Simicas particularly. Even Robertson to Matip, I'm not that keen on. So I'm not that keen on those two. James to Laporte, I'm not that keen on. Ramsdale to Schmeichel, I'm not that keen on. Kulusevski to Gordon, Rafinha to KDB. Okay, I'm not that keen on any of those transfers, to be honest, Jonathan. Like, this is my opinion. The only one there I like is Rafinha to KDB, of course, but you're not going to be able to afford that without making the others. I wouldn't be taking out James, Ramsdale, Kulusevski, maybe Robertson, but not to get Matip, and I'm not that keen on Simicas. So I do think that's crazy, and I'm not sure that I would be going for that myself. Personally, anyway. Each to their own. You've only got a few game weeks left. Trust your gut feeling. If you fancy that to be a really, really good double, go for it. Waleed says, mine was the one you skipped. Put your message in the chat if you want to. If you want me to answer it, I'll keep an eye out for it. Just try and make it a little bit. The longer the message, the less likely I am to answer because it takes a lot longer for me to think about and stuff. So re-ask the question, and I'll keep an eye out for your name. Thanks for streaming. I appreciate you. Remember to like the channel, guys. Thank you very much, Zodiac. Yeah, do drop a like. Make sure you subscribe as well to the channel. We are currently at 14,300. We've got 700 subscribers off 15,000. I think we can hit it. I think we can hit it this season. That would be an amazing, amazing milestone to hit. So do make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like. Diaz or Laporte? I would probably, for the season, I think they'll play a similar amount of minutes. I just think I'm slightly worried about the amount of minutes Laporte's played recently. So maybe just about Diaz. Laporte for a -4 or start Kulu. I'd just start Kulusevski, I think. Mateta to Nketiah. Mateta to Nketiah. That's a nice one to say. Walker Peters to Emerson for a -4 bench boost. I think I prefer Sessegnon to Emerson, but yeah, that's fine. My main man, True Fandela, coming through with the super chat. I know he's busy today, but he said he'd drop a super chat, so thank you very much. I always appreciate your support. Just says, good luck to everyone, member for life. I love that. Really, really appreciate it. If you can't already tell, the Raptor members, the members of this YouTube channel, are some of the nicest people I've ever met in my life. Not met, but spoken to. I feel like I've met you guys, so thank you very much, True Fandela. I appreciate that. Will Havertz, Jota, Diaz start in 38? I think Havertz will only play one, and I think Jota / Diaz, one of them will only play one, and the other will play two. I can't see both Jota and Diaz only playing one. Trying to predict which of Jota and Diaz are going to start both is too difficult for me to do. Hence why I've decided to just wing it and just probably keep Havertz. At the moment, that's my play. My play is to just keep it as is. By the way, I don't really plug it enough, so let me give it a little plug now. If any of you are over on Discord, or you just want to join like a big... It's basically a big FPL group chat. I feel like I should be plugging it a little bit more than I do. Please come and join our Discord server, all right? I'm just going to put it in the chat. If you're watching this now and you're interested in maybe joining a Discord server, it's basically like one big FPL group chat. We talk about all sorts of different FPL things. There's captaincy polls. There's different channels to talk about. There's different rate my team stuff to get input. It's a really nice community over there, and I'm planning on doing more with it next season. But yeah, do give it a go. Go join the Discord. Jacob Ramsey to Damari Gray, yes or no? I quite like it, to be honest. If it's for free, yes. If it's for a hit, no. Is Ake a decent pun? I don't think so. I think Ake will start one, and I think Zinchenko will start the other. So I think you're very, very likely to only get one start from Ake. Obviously, if he starts the first one at left back and then maybe the second one at centre back potentially, but... Dennis to Nketiah for a -4, worth it. Maybe. For a -4, I'm not sure, but I do think Nketiah is the better option. But again, he's going to have to get one attacking return just to make it on top of Dennis. So are you saying, do you think Nketiah is going to get 2 attacking returns on top of Dennis? Maybe not. £12 million to replace Coutinho and Gelhardt. God, I'm trying to do the math in my head here. Probably like Nketiah and then a mid-price midfielder. It's difficult to know without seeing the rest of your team, to be honest. Foden or Saka for Havertz? Saka. I made the decision to go for Saka, so I'll go for Saka there. KDH to Gordon for a -4. Maybe, yeah. I do think, again, I think Gordon's the better option. Is he going to score 4 more points on top of KDH? Probably. Is he going to score more than 4 on top of KDH? I'd hope so, but again, I don't know the answer to that. Captain KDB or Salah from another super chat. Risk for KDB doesn't start both. It depends where your rank is and whether you're happy. If you want to make up some ground, I'd go KDB. If you're happy with where you are, maybe just Captain Salah. I think they're probably the 2 best captaincy options, as you would expect, though. Just going to pop to the loo, guys. Be 2 seconds. Please do stay in the chat. Please do drop your comments. I'll only be like literally 30 seconds, but yeah, 2 seconds. Cool. To answer the same question every time, yes, I did wash my hands very quickly, but I did wash them. Same question I get every time I go to the loo. It's what happens when you have a pint of coffee, unfortunately. Best defender for 5.1 million, please help. I would probably be looking at Mina or Mikalenko. Or if you want to go all the way down, you could go for Tavares at 4.3 million. Right, let's get this tweet back up. We'll keep bouncing between them. How many are we at? So, right, let me go back to where... It's just going to randomly generate them in an order. Apologies if your question isn't getting answered here. All right. Is triple captaining Nketiah? Let me just move these. There. Is triple captaining Nketiah over Salah a complete act of lunacy this week? I don't mind it, to be honest. I think there are better options there. I think Salah, Son, Saka, Cancelo, and Trent, and maybe even Alonso are above Nketiah for me. That doesn't mean it's lunacy. It's a very big punty call, of course, as you would expect. Right. This was undecided on captain. 0.2 million in the bank, 2 free transfers. I'm most definitely going to keep going Saka for Havertz / Mount. Yeah. Should I take out KDH for Gordon? KDH didn't play versus Spurs and played 77 minutes on Thursday. I think you're fine to keep KDH. I expect him to start both, but I do think Gordon's the better option. I'm not sure if it's worth the -4 personally. That's a decision you have to make for yourself, to be honest. Bench boost team. Planned transfers. Gelhardt to Richarlison and Havertz to Dewsbury Hall. 2 free transfers. Yeah, it's really nice. It's going to be basically exactly the same team and bench boost as me, apart from you've got Kane in there and I've got Trent. There's not much of a difference between our two teams, Johan, but I love that, yeah. Team looks really good. It should be a green arrow. I can't see any reason why that wouldn't be a green arrow this week, unless some of the players you don't own, such as Trent and Son, go absolutely ballistic. Worth it from Mendy, Robertson, Mount for a -4. I'm not sure I'd take out Mendy and Mount. Maybe. That feels to me like just a random hope that pays off. I'm not sure it's worth the 4 points. On a bench boost, tempted by Watkins to Richarlison and Foster to Pickford for a -4. Again, taking out Watkins and Foster, like what are you hoping for, or what are you expecting from them? That you're taking out 2 doublers for 2 more doublers, and 2 doublers with decent fixtures and decent stats. I'm not as keen on that one personally. It's probably not worth a hit. Even for free, I'm not dead certain that I'd be on that. I do prefer Pickford and Richarlison, but you're really backing Everton. You're backing against the other two, I guess. I've answered all the ones with a heart. Gordon in place of KDH for a -4. Maybe just about, but I wouldn't expect miracles from Gordon. And don't be shocked if KDH gets an assist if Gordon doesn't outscore him. So, yeah. KDH to Erdegaard or Dennis to Iheanacho, or roll the free transfers. Right, firstly, that's not your bench boost. Don't pretend that's actually going to be your bench boost there. But realistically, I think probably roll. I don't think Erdegaard and Iheanacho are worth it that much, to be honest. Who scores the least in game week 36 and 38? James Robertson and Alonso. Maybe actually Robertson. I think James and Alonso are going to start the majority, and I think they're more likely to start both in 36. That's a really tricky one. I'd probably take out Robertson again just because he's the most expensive as well. You can probably do a lot more with that money. No free hit left. Who do I bench in game week 37 for each option? Well, Mateta definitely, Weghorst definitely, and then it's probably one of Robertson and Gordon, whoever you think, or maybe Havertz. Would you do Kane to Amati would you do Kane and Amati to Richarlison and Trent to complete a -12? I do like that, but -12 is obviously quite heavy, so it's up to you, to be fair. Fantasypedia in the chat. Say, hi, Ross. Just wanted to drop in and say you are doing a stunning job. It's been a privilege to partner with you. All the best for this game week. Massively appreciate that, guys. I know if you've been watching the videos, the collaboration with Fantasypedia has gone down an absolute treat. Hopefully that's something we'll extend into next season as well, which I'm sure we'll be discussing. But yeah, it's been a pleasure working with you guys too. Best of luck this week. I'm sure your graphics have helped out a lot of people this week. We just got a super chat from Dreaming FPL. Thank you very much for the super chat, by the way. I really do appreciate the support of the channel. Robertson to Matip. Don't mind it. Havertz to Son for a -4. Or Ramsdale to Ederson, I assume that is. I don't think Ramsdale to Ederson's necessarily worth it. I think there's a good chance for clean sheet for Ramsdale against Leeds, and he'll make a lot of saves regardless across the two. Yeah, I don't mind that, to be honest. Robertson and Havertz, I think, are both very likely to only start one. Matip and Son are more likely to play both. So there's my opinion on that. Sorry, let's get back to these. Mane or Son? Son. Who do I replace Havertz with? Can afford Mahrez maximum. It would be probably Diaz and Jota would be my top two choices. And then maybe like Foden and Mahrez down after that. Can you please explain locus of control? I can do. Can we do that after the deadline? I'd love to do that. In 18 minutes, if you're still watching the stream, ask me again, and we'll discuss psychology. I'll try and stick to FPL stuff just for the next sort of 15 minutes whilst everyone's deciding. Do you know what, guys? I've decided I'm going to keep Havertz. So I'm just going to put out a tweet with my team. I'm going to just keep Havertz. The reason for keeping Havertz, if we just switch back to my team for 2 seconds. Sorry, I will get on to answering some of your questions. I'm just not confident enough that Jota or Diaz are going to start both. And if they're not, for the extra 4 points I get to save, I think I'll just take a punt that Havertz grabs a goal. So, yeah. Martin says, would you triple captain Richarlison over Salah? Need extra points to win? Yeah, if you need extra points, I don't mind that. I guess I'd be slightly worried that he's got a little bit of a knock. But, yeah, I don't mind any triple captaincy punts if you want to. But, honestly, Cancelo's probably the one I'd go for outside of Salah and KDB. But I don't mind Richarlison. I've obviously brought him in this week, so I think he's a fantastic option. Right, let me just get this tweet sent out, guys. You can see me live on my phone just putting out the tweet. There it is. Right. Boom. Tweet done. Sorry, the life of FPL Twitter. Let me just copy that across for you. Yeah, I think I've committed. I like to commit, by the way, if you're wondering why I'm committed, I like to commit 15 minutes before the deadline. There's a lot of stuff in my book, by the way. If you haven't read it, we'll talk about that after the deadline maybe. But there's a lot of stuff in my book about being pressured into making a decision by a time pressure. And it forces me to make some stupid moves. So I like deciding relatively early, 15 minutes before the deadline. And yeah, this is what I'm going to be going with. So if I just copy this across to you lovely people, go like the tweet. Go, go, go. That's my team for the upcoming deadline. Click on the link, like the tweet, share the tweet, drop me a follow, boost me up the Twitter algorithm as well. And there we go. Right. By the way, very important, make sure your bench boost is actually activated. Make sure your free hit's actually activated. Whatever chip you're playing this week, make sure it's actually activated. I've made the mistake before. Other people have made the mistake before. You think you've activated it and you've not actually clicked the button. Refresh the page a couple of times. Make sure you are in a good position, that you've got everything set up nicely. So yeah, there we go. Fingers crossed. I could, honestly, if Havertz starts both and scores or something, I'm going to lose it. But even if he just starts one of them, if he can start one for me and get a return, an assist, a goal, anything, I'm happy with the decision to keep him. It's just obviously if he starts one and doesn't get anything, he could be like on like a 1 or 2 pointer. And again, if Diaz or Jota start both, it's going to be a horrible swing. So who are you selling Havertz for? Not selling Havertz, staying as it is. 2 free transfers used. Saka and Richarlison for Gelhardt and Sterling, keeping it the same. I'm also looking to bring in a £7 million to £8 million forward. Do you think Diaz plays both? I think one of Diaz or Jota will play both, but I don't know which one. Is there any early team news or early? I haven't seen anything yet. Let's have a look. I haven't seen... The only early team news we've got is that Mateta is starting on the bench. Right. On the bench for Mateta. That's the only thing that I've seen. Man City have just posted a João Cancelo rocket against Newcastle earlier on in the season. Um, if you want any Cancelo propaganda, if you're considering captaining Cancelo, look at the tweet that I've just slapped in the chat. Cancelo absolute rocket against Newcastle earlier on in the season. If you need any Cancelo propaganda to captain him, there it is for you. Chances of Mahrez playing both, I'd say very slim, but possible, of course it is. Mateta and Gaeta on the bench as well. I didn't see the Gaeta stuff. That's interesting. Okay, yeah. So I don't think many people have Gaeta anyway, but if you did own, thank you very much, Indian football coach. If you own Mateta or Gaeta and you're on a bench boost or something, it might be worth transferring him out. Will Richarlison play? I hope so, because I just transferred him in. I think he's fine. I think he's fine. Get those teams locked in the next sort of 10 minutes, guys. Let me end this poll, by the way, because I've made the decision. I can't believe I'm keeping Havertz. Jesus, what's happened to me? What's happened to me? Is there a rotation risk for Salah with 3 games in 7 days? I will eat my hat. I won't actually eat my hat because I quite like my hat. Salah's not going to get benched again. He was literally just benched. He could definitely get reduced minutes. He could come off at 60 minutes in one of the next 2. If Liverpool are 3-0 up against Villa, for sure, then he could come off slightly early. But I can't see Salah being benched. Do you think Havertz plays twice? No, I don't. De Bruyne and Maddison or Foden and Son? Foden and Son's the safer move. I quite like De Bruyne and Maddison, though, for this week. Starting Nketiah or Maddison? Both, Thomas. You've got to bench someone else there, in my opinion. If you have to choose, I'd start Nketiah and hope that Maddison gets benched, but I don't think he will. Ross, please, keep Maddison or keep Havertz. I'd keep Maddison and I'd sell Havertz, probably. Havertz to Foden or Mahrez. For this week, probably just about Mahrez. Long term, when I say long term, over the next 3 game weeks, I'd prefer Foden. Thoughts on Havertz out for Foden? I'm going to keep Havertz, so I'm going to say no for me. In your own team, I don't know. If it was for free, I'd be doing Havertz to Jota. Right, so if you're wondering, if I had another free transfer, I'd do Havertz to Jota for free. If you want to know what my move would have been. Let's say that live on stream so that you guys know that I'm not going to be like, oh my God, Diaz hauled and I'm really sad. If I were going to make the move now, it would be Havertz to Jota. So if Jota goes crazy, I can complain. If Diaz goes crazy or Foden goes crazy, then I won't complain because I wouldn't have made the move anyway. I'd back myself. If I have to predict, I would say that Jota is more likely to start 2 than Diaz. Any latest news? Just Gaeta and Mateta on the bench is all I've seen at the moment. That is all I've seen at the moment is Gaeta. And if there's any news on Twitter, if you see anything, guys, just tag me in it. Right? So just tag me in the tweet, and I'll refresh my notifications and I'll have a look, and it'll come through. Can't see any early team news yet, guys. But like I said, do tag me if you see anything. Just the Crystal Palace stuff that Focal's tweeted. Any early Chelsea news? No, like I said, no Chelsea news yet. I'd be surprised if we do. Chelsea news starts to filter in just after the deadline normally. It will normally be over on Twitter, and it will come through on Instagram, sorry, and it will come through on Twitter. DJ Hammer says, Mahrez and Richarlison or Son and Nketiah for a -4. Oh, that's really tough. Mahrez and Richarlison is more exciting for me, but I think Son and Nketiah are slightly safer, just because you know I don't know, DJ Hammer. That's a really tricky one, isn't it? I like Mahrez and Richarlison. It just plays into what I like, and I think you've also got 2 penalty takers in Mahrez and Richarlison, whereas in Son and Nketiah you don't have any penalty takers. It's a difficult one. Man, I really want to move out Havertz to Diaz, but I can't justify it. I'm the same with Jota. Ultimate Modern Gaming, I'm the same. I would love to be able to justify Havertz to Jota. I can't justify it when I don't know he's going to start both. Jota or Mount. If I were going fresh this week, I'd maybe go for Jota, but it's not worth moving Mount to Jota, in my opinion, if that makes sense. What about Son captaincy? Yeah, I don't mind it, to be fair. I don't mind it. I don't like his double, but I expect Spurs to still score goals. And if Spurs score goals, it's going to be Kane and Son, maybe Kulusevski. Laporte or Alonso? I just about prefer Alonso. I am the king of going with the wrong choice. This is the issue. I think when you're actually good at making decisions, this is what I'm telling myself anyway. When you're good at making decisions or you're good at understanding underlying data and football, you often narrow it down to two really good choices. If you get a 50-50 wrong, it means that you got the narrowing down of the decisions correct. Like if I'm deciding between Jota and Havertz and Jota halls and Foden and Diaz blanks, yes, that hurts more, but it means that I got the decision down to a good 50-50 decision. So sometimes if you've got a 50-50, it probably means you've done well in that initial decision making. And largely 50-50s are the result of luck. If it's a genuine 50-50 call. Diaz or Laporte, I've been saying Ruben Diaz just about for me, but I don't mind either of them. What are we saying? Any other news? God, that is insane. I've literally got the same team. I've just seen this is the thing. I think because there's obviously a smaller pool to choose from. I've seen quite a few similar to me, but I've literally just seen exactly the same team, but they've got Pickford over Schmeichel. That's crazy. Ridiculous. No early team news. I thought because there were loads of games at 3, we'd get a little bit more. Not loads of games, but how many games have we got at 3, by the way? What games have we got at 3? We've got Brentford, Southampton, Burnley, Villa, Wolves, Chelsea, Palace, Watford. Yeah, I guess the only thing we really care about is the Chelsea lineup here then. I'm hoping there's no surprise with Foster being benched. I guess a lot of people have Dennis and João Pedro, maybe hoping for some Watford early team news, but I can't see us ever getting Watford early team news. Maybe you've got some Southampton players. Oh, Villa, of course. Again, I'd be very shocked if Cash, Coutinho and Watkins don't start. It is just Chelsea, isn't it? It'd be nice to get some. But the thing is, if Havertz doesn't start today, I don't actually care because I think that means he's more likely to start against Leeds. I doubt he'd be benched for 2 games in a row. So there we go. I'll have to wait and see what happens there. I think I need a like a 4th screen here just to get all the things open that I've got. Is this the way you'd set up the bench boost, by the way, guys? It doesn't really matter, but I try and set up the bench boost as realistic as possible. Is that the way you'd set up the bench boost? Like, imagine that I'm not bench boosting. Who would you put on the bench here? Is this the way you'd set up the bench boost? I think it is for me. I like to try and give basically the most realistic bench boost I possibly can, if that makes sense. Got a super chat from Cray. Thank you very much for the super chat, my man. Just in time. It says Diaz or Laporte and Richarlison and Nketiah. Yeah, so let's say Diaz and Richarlison and Nketiah versus Alonso and Jesus and Nketiah versus Alonso and Jesus and Richarlison. I would go for... I think I like... God, that's a really good question. I quite like the Diaz, Richarlison and Nketiah one. Get that City defensive cover because you're saying you've got no Cancelo. Get Richarlison and Nketiah, who are 2 of the best options, and maybe don't risk it with Jesus. I'd probably go for the first one, Cray. Hopefully that helps a little bit. By the way, I think all 3 are fantastic options. So if you told me you're going for any of those 3, I love all 3 of them. I just think I just about would lean towards the first option. Captain Cancelo to chase. Yeah, I don't mind Captain Cancelo. You can see he's got the Vice armband for me, so I don't mind captaining Cancelo. Right, got 5 minutes till the deadline, guys. Get those final questions in. Also, make sure your team is locked in as well. I'll answer questions for the next 3 minutes. So any final important questions, get those questions in to me. We've got about maybe 3 minutes left to answer some of those important questions. And then that's it. Then we're locked in. And then after that, we've only got 2 more game weeks. Very exciting. Johan says 5 minutes. Yep, 5-minute warning. Love the content, mate. Thank you very much, Harry. He asks, Salah or KDB captain? I would prefer KDB just for the risky play, but obviously the safer option, the better statistics is with Salah. Depends how much room you've got to make up. I would personally prefer to have KDB captain, but it is a bit of a risk. Tom with the super chat says, do you think it's worth a -4 to get Pickford/Ramsdale for Sarr? And if so, which one? Yes, I do think that's probably worth it, especially when you take into account game week 37, in which case I would be going for Pickford. So yes, Tom, I'd go Pickford. Hopefully that helps. Coutinho to Maddison -4. No. No, probably not, because you just don't know that Maddison's going to start both. And Coutinho is a great option for 37. Captain Saka or Cancelo? I prefer Cancelo. Jota or Luis Diaz? I prefer Jota. The sensible decision that everyone else seems to think is the better one is Luis Diaz. It's basically a 50-50 call. Salah or KDB for armband? I'd go KDB for the risky punt. Salah or Son captain? I'd go Salah. Is Pookie to Richarlison worth a -4? Just about. Just about, yes. Just about, but it's very close. Captain Cancelo, Foden or De Bruyne? I'd captain De Bruyne. -4 for White to Mikalenko. Probably not. Probably not. Foden and Robertson to Mahrez and Castagna for a -4. No, I don't know what the obsession is with Castagna. I think there's a good chance he only plays one. If you think Castagna's going to start both, then maybe. Brownhill, Weghorst or White for first bench? White. I've done Saka to Havertz. Shall I do Maddison to either Foden, Diaz or Jota? I think you're probably fine keeping it there. Right. That's it. I'll just let you lock in now. There's no point asking questions now. Make sure you're locked in. I'm just going to refresh my page a couple of times. Not a ritual that I do. I just want to make sure that I haven't glitched out and that the bench boost hasn't been like deactivated. Right, bench boost is active. Team's looking fairly good. Captain is on Salah. Happy with the vice captain on Cancelo. Going to keep Havertz, Mount and Alonso. Going to keep the Chelsea boys a little bit longer. I might end up keeping the Chelsea boys for the rest of the season because they've got Leicester and Watford in 37 and 38 as well. Richarlison and Saka coming in. 2 free transfers, not taking a hit. I think I'm happy. I think I'm ready to go. Let's give it one more refresh. And that'll be it. That'll be it. Make sure you lock in, guys. Got about 90 seconds left till the deadline. Jesus captain. Could be very cheeky. Could be a decent punt. Let's go. Literally, this is the third from final deadline. After this, we've only got 37 and 38. Enjoy it. Bench Pookie or KDH? Neither, bit of a hat to KDH. Chasing 19 points in my mini league with 2 transfers. Kane to Richarlison and Rafinha to Mahrez. Yep, do it. Go for it. I bought the Titan chair. It's amazing. Love that, Jonathan. Yeah, it's class, isn't it? Oh, my camera is dying at the worst possible time, just as the deadline is approaching. Thoughts on Pogba to Man City? We'll discuss that again just after the deadline. Good luck, Ross, in bench boost. We trust. We need a big week. We need to have a big bench boost. Saka captaincy. I don't mind it. I prefer some others. Marcus in the chat. Good luck all. Hoping to see 150 points with a bench boost this week. That would be amazing. I need a huge week. If I can push up towards sort of top 20k, I would be absolutely buzzing. I really need a huge week on the bench boost. Any hope on Gabriel Jesus? Think he's fine? I would stop asking questions now, guys, and just make sure your team's locked in. Got like 10 seconds left till the team's locked in. All right, that is it. We should be locked in. Here we go. Good to go. Make sure you're locked in. Make sure your captaincy sorted. Make sure you got your chips active if you can still access the site, but that should be pretty much it. And bench boost 36 deadline is gone. Love to see it. Ross, thank you so much for the content. I hope that you slay it throughout the year. Truly seem to be a great guy with good insight. I appreciate that. That's very nice of you to say. Thank you, my man. I hope you smash it as well. Hope you continue to slay too. Sorry, Jonathan's question. I bought the Titan chair. It's amazing. I'm glad you did. Yeah, I love this thing. I've not got my magnetic pillow on just because it hits the back of my cap and I like to lean my head back a little bit. So, but yeah, it's absolutely class as well. So I'm going to continue streaming, by the way, guys. I will probably stream till 3. 3, not till 3, till 2, just so that we can have a look at the team news when it starts flooding in. So yeah, I'll continue streaming. This is what we call the Velociraptor hour, half an hour. This is the Velociraptor section of the live stream. We just talk absolute crap, basically. Start talking about films. We talk about psychology. We talk about FPL across the season. We talk about FPL next season. We talk about YouTube. It's basically like whatever you want to talk about. If you're not going to stay for this, if you couldn't think of anything worse than listening to Ross for another half an hour, on your way out, please do just drop a like on the video as well. And make sure you subscribe as well. So if you're leaving now, thank you very much for watching. Drop a like on the video, the stream as you leave. If you are staying, ask whatever questions you want. We kick back and we relax. And we answer some questions. Oh, I went Saka instead of Foden. Yeah, I went for Saka instead of Foden as well. Let's see how that pans out. Pans out, not plans out. Iconic reaction and Nketiah triple captain. Oof. I like that a lot, to be fair. The balls of steel to triple captain Nketiah. Triple captaincy is such a random thing anyway, isn't it? Good luck, everyone. 100 points and more. We'll quickly address this thing. Everyone's asking, what's a good bench boost? What am I hoping for? It's difficult to say. I'm hoping for... Listen, if you think that Foster, Pookie, Gordon and Cash are going to start every game and probably hopefully get 2 points in each, although Cash might get like 0 points in the Liverpool game, that's a baseline of like 14 to 16 points. So what am I hoping for? I'm hoping for 2 returns off my bench. So I guess I'm hoping for 22 to 25 points off my bench boost. I'm hoping for 80 to 100 points from my team. So I guess I'd be happy with like 120 points overall and 20 points off the bench boost. And I'd say that's a good team. We'll have to wait and see. Hey, Ross, thanks for replying. I asked about locus of control. You say focus of control. Did you mean locus of control the first time? And Pogba to City. Locus of control is with respect to how much do you think your life is within your control and your decisions are within your control. So when you've got an external locus of control, you're basically saying like others are in charge of your decision. You blame the things that are happening in your life on other people. And it's almost like distribution of control of your life to other people. Internal locus of control is like you own your decision making. You own the decisions that you make. You feel like you're in control of your decision making. I haven't done locus of control in about 6 or 7 years. So apologies if that's a bit of a naff definition, but that's what locus of control is about. And the reason we look at locus of control is if you have an internal locus of control, you're more likely to be happier. You're more likely to make optimal decisions. You're more likely to have positive mental health. So locus of control is very important. I have a very internal locus of control. I like to own my decisions. Everything that I do, whether it be FPL or anything, I don't blame other people for stuff. And I don't try and, like I say, I don't try and shift the blame and shift the control over my life and decisions to other people. That's a rough definition of locus of control. And then with Pogba to Manchester City, I don't think it will happen personally. I think he'll go abroad. If he does, good luck to him. I think he'll do fine at Manchester City. I just think his attitude absolutely stinks. And I'm not sure what Pep will think of that kind of attitude. And it's similar to Grealish as well. I don't think he'll start every game. I think he'll be a bit part player with Gundogan, if Bernardo Silva stays, with KDB, Rodri, if they bring in any other players. It just feels like that's probably not the best move for him, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. Why do you think free hit 38 is being overlooked? I don't think it's been overlooked, Sydney, but I definitely think it's a great option. I guess the reason that it's being overlooked, or why some other people might potentially not be looking at it, is probably just because there's no doubles, right? And in a double game week, you could have 11 doublers in 37. You can have 11 doublers in 36. 38's a great week, but you're not gaining extra fixtures, I guess, from the free hit. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see on it, but Alvin Block says, big up Raptor. Thank you very much, my man. I did a -20, brought in Ericsson, Zaha, Mina, Schmeichel, Kulusevski and Barnes, Son captain. That's a massive hit, but that's really nice. I like the Mina punt a lot. Really like the Mina punt. I don't know why. I've got a feeling Mina's going to score from a corner, but we'll have to wait and see. This is the best part of the stream. Not that there is anything wrong with the main part. I love this part of the stream just because we tend to have less people watching and I can just talk about whatever I want. There's no pressure on me to answer questions. Deadline streams, by the way, if you're not a content creator, it's not stressful particularly. Like you can see, I'm fairly relaxed. I'm not particularly stressed out, but there's a lot of pressure to get through questions at a good rate. You're always got to be talking about FPL, switching between answering questions, building teams. So a deadline stream takes some getting used to. If you go back, don't do it if you don't want to cringe. If you go back to my first ever live stream early on in the season, it was a bit of a nightmare. Like you can see, like I start the live stream, I'm like, guys, can you hear me? Can you hear me? And I'm just like this close, like I'm zoomed in on the camera, and I'm like trying to deal with the chat, and because you've got different tabs open, I've obviously got to make sure that my connection's working. I've got to make sure I can read the chat. I've got to make sure I've got my team up. I've got Twitter up as well to make sure anything's changed. Keeping an eye on the time, keeping an eye on making sure that there's nothing wrong in the chat, the audio. Like there's a lot of things to keep going with the live stream. So what was I saying? Yeah, this is. I like this point of the live stream as well. It's significantly less stressful, and I can just chill and relax. Have we got any early team news? I don't think there's been anything yet. FPL mate posted his team 30 seconds before the deadline. If you don't watch Dan's videos on YouTube, by the way, he's great FPL YouTuber. He's obviously 12th in the world at the moment, Dan, and people have been copying his team. So he posted his team 30 seconds before the deadline and said, "Copy my transfers, go," which is pretty funny. If you want to copy me, by the way, if people want my opinion on this, I'm not going to trash talk it. I don't have a massively strong opinion either way. If you want to copy me, copy my team, go for it. Like I've always been of the opinion across my entire life, I'm happy to share my knowledge. I'm happy to share my thoughts. Like, you know, there's people like in exams that are like hiding their answers and like they won't give you any help. And like when you're revising and stuff, they won't give you any support. I've always been of the opinion, if you need help, I'll give you help. If you want to copy me, you can copy me. If my channel inspires you so much that you want to copy my team and copy my transfers, bloody go for it. Like, absolutely. So again, nothing against Dan. Like I fully appreciate that he's 12th. He's got charity leagues on the go. He's got cash leagues. This is his full-time job. I fully appreciate it's probably very frustrating to see people copying him. I couldn't care less. If you want to copy me, go for it. I'm of the opinion as well that you should try and make your own decisions. Like, I think that there is no fun in copying me. Like, what is the point in playing the game if you're going to copy my move every single week? But if for you that brings you joy to the game, and if you think that you trust my decisions each week enough that you should copy me, then go for it. But I don't think that's the best way to play. What I would say is that there's a fine line between copying and being inspired by someone. If you copy my transfers a lot of the week, maybe this week you've seen, oh, Raptor brought in Richarlison and Saka. I think they're pretty good moves. Maybe I'll do the same. That's different to copying. That's just being inspired by someone that you trust and you trust their content. So that's what I'll say on that. But yeah, Dan's absolutely smashing it this year. 12th in the world. No wonder people are copying these transfers. No wonder. Arteta has signed a new contract until 2025. Very nice. Very nice. I think that's best for Arsenal. I think there aren't many better managers that they can get at the moment. Captain's Trent Raptor, hold me. Oof, I like it, to be fair. Raptor's not. Trent's got the second highest projected points in FPL review this week, so this is more like an embargoed section. It is like the embargoed part of press conference, isn't it? I've always found that you consolidate your knowledge by sharing it with others, for sure. People only copy to win their league. It's not fun. It's not up to me to decide if that's fun or not. What I'm saying is if people do it, then I'm not going to have a pop at them. In mini leagues, do you think it's more fun to be winning or chasing the leader? I think with everything in FPL, it's more fun to be chasing. I really struggle when I'm doing well and trying to keep a lead. I think it's always more fun being a few points behind and chasing. That's just my opinion on it, though. Chelsea are playing FA Cup final. Will there be rotation? Yep, I think there's a very good chance none of my Chelsea boys start twice, but I said that last week in 35. I said there's a very good chance none of my Chelsea boys start. All three of them started. They started, but they were pretty shocking is the only issue, but, you know. What did Dan go with in the end? I know what he took the -4 and he went for Richarlison. So he didn't go for Nketiah. So yeah. He's probably streaming right now, to be fair. I think myself and FPL mate are the two of the only ones that like continue streaming way after the deadline. Can have a look. Yeah, there's not. Oh, I don't even know. No, Dan's not even streaming now, is he? Is it just me that's still streaming? Fantasy Football Scout are streaming as well. There'll be a few other channels as well that I'm not subscribed to, but not that many people continue streaming after the deadline. They're like, deadline's here. I've had enough FPL for the week. Again, the life of the content creator. I've spent maybe 30 to 40 hours, maybe even more than that, creating content. An additional 20 to 30 hours doing research. Like, there's a lot of time spent. There's a lot of time spent doing FPL. Planet FPL still going, okay, cool, yeah, James's class. Dan has a birthday party, he's gone drinking. Good on him. Good on him. Full-time FPL. So there you go. I'm going to be doing a lot of collabs with Dan next week. Next season, hopefully. So that'll be good to do. Dylan RCM continues to. Yeah, I haven't really chatted a lot with Dylan because he's not that active over on Twitter and stuff. But I know a lot of people like Dylan's channel, so that's good. Is this your full-time job? It is not my full-time job. I am a lecturer and a PhD student. So my full-time job is lecturing. I then do a PhD as well, and I do YouTube. So like last couple of weeks, I'm doing like 110 hours per week on those three. So no, this isn't my full-time job, but I give it the amount of attention that other full-time YouTubers do. I was competitive at uni, so I helped people, but not too much. If I spent hours trying to solve the problem, why should I tell them? Yeah, listen, I'm not saying that I'm better for letting people copy me. Like, I know some people won't like that, but I'm just of the opinion, if that helps them and they think that's the best for them, they live their life. I'm going to continue to do everything I can in my power to get my best grade, to do my best work, and that's that. So there we go. What's going on with the collaboration with FPL Focal? Very interested. Yeah, we're going to collaborate hopefully pre-season or next season at some point. I just need to work out how it all works with OBS and with YouTube and stuff. I just want to interview a few people and talk to them about psychology. I want to get a bit more psychology back on the channel next season if we can. It's just so hectic with other transfers like team selection, game week preview, and live streams that the psychology side of things can take like a back seat a little bit. But yeah, Oscar's a very good friend. Obviously, I didn't know Oscar before this, but I've chatted to Oscar a few times, met him a few times. I'd love to get something set up with Oscar next season. Same with Dan as well. I'd like to have a chat with Dan. And I spoke to Mark Southerns the other day. We're going to try and get a collaboration with Mark and Az. I'm not sure whether that's going to be me going on to Black Box or whether it's going to be Mark and then Az coming onto my channel. But I'm going to get something going with Mark as well. Outside of that, maybe get Andy onto the channel if he's not too busy. What would need to happen for you to go full-time YouTube? Nothing. I could go full-time YouTube now if I wanted to. It's just to do with respect to sort of that consistency of income that's not necessarily there with YouTube. And then the second thing is I'm obviously doing a PhD. I'm not going to quit my PhD. I love my PhD. I love my academic side of things. So it makes no sense for me. I've spent all of my life studying. I've done a bachelor's degree. I've done a master's degree. I'm 2 years into a PhD. It makes no sense for me to quit a PhD, especially when I can still do YouTube. Like you guys, let me know if you think my channel's like suffered this year whilst I'm doing a PhD. I think I've been able to manage it all fairly well. So the plan is to continue the PhD, and then after the PhD, I can decide if I want to go full-time YouTube at that point. Yeah, so it's not to do with not wanting to go full-time. It's more just to do with seeing out the PhD. So there we go. Will Richarlison be playing 90 minutes after the injury concern? Maybe not 90, but I expect him to start the next two, hopefully. Ashish, everyone that's asking questions, the deadline's gone. So if you're asking questions related to 36, the deadline passed 15 minutes ago. You sound soothing. Thank you very much. Also, keep up the good work. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. Any early team news? Let's have a look. I don't think so. No, we can't see anything yet. But we've only got 15 minutes anyway. We'll stay on until 2. We'll have a quick gander at the team sheet. God, what did I just click on? The gander at the team sheets, and then we'll do that. Ross, are you going to try and do more FPL psychology during the summer break? Of course I am. Of course I am. I'm probably looking at not doing too much because there are still other pieces of content I want to do. Drafts, players to target, looking at statistics. There are lots of other stuff I want to do. But for me, FPL psychology is what I find so interesting. Oh, by the way, I'll grab it just because for those of you that haven't seen it before. 2 seconds. Oh, God, that was a big stretch. This is my book. If you're not new to the channel or you've not yet checked it out, I have written an entire book on FPL and psychology, by the way. I don't promote the book anywhere near as much as I should. I think if most other people had written a book on FPL, they'd talk about it literally every video, every single second. But it's good, right? It's got loads of content in there, and it's basically discussing things about how to optimize your decision making, how to improve the mental aspects of the game, how to deal with a negative outcome, deal with a bad week. And there's like throughout the book, there's questionnaires in the book. I'm not going to promote myself for too long, by the way. Like, so you can find out there's questionnaires about trying to understand who you are as a person and who you are as a manager. So we talk about like when's the best time of day to make decisions, should you trust your gut feeling, cognitive biases. Like there are good examples in there from like different like diversification bias and stuff. And you can see here, can you wait, delayed gratification? What's some other cool stuff that's in the book? Like there's loads of good stuff in there. Like this is a great chapter that I think a lot of people would like. Dark side of social media. There's loads in there. Links in the description. If you want to buy the book, now is a good time to do it, or like in the pre-season. Read it over the summer. Read it before the season starts. And I genuinely think it will help you. Like, I would never write and promote a book that I didn't think was very good. Right, so this, in my opinion, is a good book. It's worth buying. It's worth reading. Links in the description for that. But I love FPL psychology. Like, for me to this took me 14 months to write this book. For me to love it enough to write a book, I want to do more videos in the summer on it for sure. So yeah, there'll be at least 2 or 3 videos this summer looking at FPL psychology. Sorry. Well, I've lost where I were. Best of luck, dear. Just wanted to say, love the way you are focused on academic life and FPL. Thank you. I appreciate that. It's a good balance to try and to deal with. Will you do in World Cup Fantasy? If there is a World Cup Fantasy game, which there should be at Christmas, I'll probably do like a team selection video and maybe a live stream every week. But I won't be going hard on the content because it's over Christmas anyway. I'd probably just do like one team selection video every week. But yeah, there will be content on it, hopefully. Todd says, will you change social handles to Dr. Rapsel once the PhD is completed? Big love and kudos for the channel. Thank you very much, Todd. Maybe I might have to get Dr. FPL Raptor in there once the PhD is completed. I considered a PhD, but don't know if I had enough passion to do it. It requires a lot of hard work. And for most careers, you don't really need a PhD. A master's degree is plenty. It's absolutely plenty. So yeah. By the way, if you want to know the future of me for YouTube, if you can't tell already, I'm very happy in front of a camera talking about life and giving advice on how to optimize decision making, how to live a better life, how to live a happier life, about education, about productivity. So if I go full-time YouTube after this, I'd be creating another channel, which should just be me, just be Ross Dowsett, which is my name. And it's just going to be me sitting in front of a camera, not with FPL graphics, with a nice background, a better camera, maybe doing some vlogs as well, just talking about life. So let me know in the chat if that would be something you'd be interested in. Just me creating a channel where it's just me rather than being FPL related. New channel idea, ASM Raptor. Yeah, ASMR Raptor. ASMR Raptor. Yeah, I don't whisper into the mic. I try and keep the mic far enough away from my face. I could have the mic like in my mouth eating it, but you know. Oh God, I've just lost where I was. Oh, what uni do you attend? I'm doing my PhD in lecturing at Nottingham Trent. So I'm in Nottingham at the moment. Have you decided on the title of your PhD dissertation? The rough title is Accelerating Expertise, the Role of Virtual Reality in Skill Acquisition in Sport. So basically what we're looking at is the role of virtual reality in accelerating expertise. And basically we're going to elite football clubs. I can't say which, but hopefully Premier League football clubs, giving them virtual reality gears, running studies, and basically trying to tell, is virtual reality the future for elite sport and elite football, and can they gain anything in their training by using virtual reality? So, yeah. Is there a audio version of your book? There's not, unfortunately. It just wasn't worth the amount of time that I would have to sit there, read the entire book. There's certain sound quality levels that you have to hit. It takes money to have an Audible license. It started adding up, and I just don't. I've barely made anything from this book. Not to say we haven't sold a lot of comments, but when you consider a book like this, so this book, if you want to buy it, I think it's £8.99. It's £5 for the audio, for the Kindle version. When you take into account what the publishers take, when you take into account posting and packaging, when you take into account print cost, I've gone for, by the way, I went for the most expensive paper possible. When you take into account all of that stuff, I don't make a lot of money from each sale. So to then get an Audible account, to then read, it just didn't make sense as an investor. So sorry, there's no audio, but account basically. Which uni did you attend for your bachelor's and master's? Yes, I'm at Nottingham Trent now. For my bachelor's, it was Royal Holloway, University of London, which is in Surrey. And then for my master's degree, it was Bangor University, which is in North Wales. I absolutely loved both. For me, Royal Holloway was incredible university. Incredible university. Ross's book is on my Father's Day wish list. Hope my kids are paying attention. Thank you, Robert. Hopefully you get it for Father's Day then. That'd be cool. Your team is not typical this game week. If insane things happen, you'll be getting ahead of many managers. Most teams don't have 3 Chelsea players. Brave call. Yeah, exactly. But I don't think I should get a huge red this week, but I do think I'm missing like Son and Kane. I've not got a City attacker. Not got triple Liverpool. So there's a few things. It's not completely typical for sure. Is the book available as an ebook? Yeah, there's links in the description. There's 2 links. One's to take you to Amazon. You can buy it as a Kindle. And then the second link will take you to the hard copy. It's £8.99, I think. Stick to FPL, mate. Okay. to be honest, the 300 people watching me now just want to hear me chat about stuff, I think, because it hasn't changed. Like, it's not going up and down much. It's just 300 people are just incredibly nice and enjoy listening to me chat about stuff, which is crazy to think. But this is not an FPL talk. If you want me to stick to FPL, I would leave now, probably. By the way, if you're one of the 300 people watching and you enjoy this chill chat, please drop a like on the video. I massively appreciate it. Do PhD students just read papers all day? No. So for psychology, it's a lot of reading and writing, of course, but it's also carrying out experiments. So at the moment, we've just carried out an experiment, and we're about to carry out a new one where I'll be giving people virtual reality headsets, and I'll be testing their penalty taking abilities, testing one-on-one decision making in football. So it's carrying out experiments, doing some statistical tests on that, and then writing that up. So it's a lot of reading, writing, and doing experiments for me. So, yeah. Captain James, do you think that's a good choice? Yeah, I really like that. Yeah. Doing a PhD in RF and microwaves engineering. Hope to see both of us being a doctor next year. That's class, mate. I've still got about 2.5 years left because mine's a part-time PhD because I'm lecturing as well. You can't do a full-time PhD and lecture. So I'm doing part-time PhD, part-time lecturing, which makes a full-time job. So I'll be 2.5 years off. But yeah, hopefully you graduate and become a doctor next year. That'd be great. How can I work for you in the future? I'm interested in psychology, football, and VR. I don't know at the moment. I haven't got my own company or anything, so we'll see. Maybe I will. Come to Northern Ireland. I'd love to be fair. I've visited Northern Ireland once, but I've not. Have any of your FPL fans recognised you at uni, asked for autographs, selfies, etc.? So no one's asked for an autograph or selfie. I've been recognised by 7 students. I have kept count because I'm sad like that. 7 students have come up to me at the end of the lecture and said, I know who you are, you're FPL Raptor. Like, I think about 4 or 5 of them have come up to me and gone like, that's so cool that you make YouTube videos, and gone for like a proper chat. And then 2 of them have come up to me and you can tell they're slightly unsure because it's different seeing me in real life, obviously. And maybe they don't watch like every video. They've come up to me and they've gone, sorry to ask, are you FPL Raptor? And it's sweet, to be honest. But yeah, for sure. There's been quite a few quite a few times where I've been recognized by students. To be fair, you can tell most of the students that are in my lectures are watching me like bored because people don't want to be in lectures, right? I think it's interesting what I'm lecturing, but students just don't want to be there. You can tell the people that are like nodding along and really listening to me are those that probably watch the YouTube videos. So there you go. Sitting in the sun, love to hear it. I didn't mean to be rude. I like what you have. No, I didn't take it as a rude comment, but yeah, I like to expand. I don't just want to keep to FPL forever. Just bought your book on Kindle Unlimited. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, if you wanna get the book, go for it. Kindle Unlimited, by the way, authors do make a little bit of money from Kindle Unlimited. What it comes down to, if you're interested, if you've ever wanted to be an author, because Kindle Unlimited, you don't buy my book, you get the book for free. I get like 1p for every like 1 or 2 pages that you read. It works out like that. So if you read the entire book, I'll get like a couple of quid for it. So yeah, that's fine. Can't wait for my holiday. Bought your book for beach read. Yeah, thank you, Steve. I appreciate that, my man. How much sleep do you get on average and how much do you feel you need? What a great question it is. Funny you should say that. At the moment, this is my Kindle, by the way. No battery. I read every single night for about an hour. Sleep's something that's very important to me, but I'm reading at the moment Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker. I'm going to put it in the chat. You need to read this book, right? This book is a game changer. It's one of the best books I've ever read. I've read it before, but I'm reading it again now. It's basically, it tells you we need 8 hours of sleep and we need to get it at the right time of night. So 8 hours from like 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. is very, very different from 8 hours from 2 a.m. to 10 a.m. Right? So we need to try and get our sleep between an optimal period because it's to do with different stages of the sleep cycle. I won't go into it now. For me, I can function very, very effectively on about 6 to 6.5 hours. But what you don't see is the underlying issues that you're having there. You're increasing your risk of cancer, cardiovascular disease. You're increasing your chance of injuries such as car-related injuries. You're reducing muscle recovery if you go to the gym and you're interested in exercise. So you might feel like you're functioning okay, but we're just not. And if you look at like the apes and orangutans that we've originated from, they get 10 to 15 hours of sleep. So basically we need at least probably 7 to 8 hours. So at the moment, I'm trying to go to sleep at 11 and wake up at 7 a.m. And if for some reason I'm half an hour late, I'm getting sort of 7.5 to 8 hours. Don't get me started. I could talk about sleep. I could do a whole live stream talking about sleep. But yeah, basically you should try to get 8 hours. And I think try and get in bed by maybe 10:30, 11. And then wake up at about sort of 6:30, 7, 7:30. And you know what? You'll get so much more done in the mornings. If you wake up at 7, have a half an hour routine, make yourself a coffee, right? Get yourself an iced coffee, whatever it may be you do in the morning. You can get started with work by 7:30. So, oh crap! I forgot there was FPL. I forgot, guys. I forgot this was an FPL channel. Code Red. Let's have a look at the early team news. What am I doing? That. And then that. And then that. Right, let's see how much my day is going to be ruined. Think Mount and Havertz need a rest. Yeah, that's fine. Oh, you're not going to be able to see that, are you? Wait, let me just adjust this for you guys. I don't really care. Guys, this isn't the end of the world for me. I think it means they play against Leeds, and I'm not too displeased about that, right? It's obviously not a great start to the week, but I don't see any reason. They've just been rested for a week for them to miss this and then miss the Leeds game. So, again, not too disheartened by that. But, yeah, obviously not ideal. Don't get me wrong. What else we got here? Is there anything else? That was all he tweeted. We're going to get the Chelsea team any second now, though. Who's the author of the book? Why We Sleep is by Matthew Walker. We'll get back to some non-FPL stuff in a second. DJ Hammer says, has that got something to do with our circadian rhythm? Yeah, definitely. You should read the book. Honestly, really good. Guys, I'm honestly, like, I'm not just saying, FPL just doesn't affect me as emotionally as it used to, but James and Alonso start. All right, here we go. Right, let's get Chelsea up. James and Alonso start, Havertz and Mount benched. I'm actually not. I'm all right with that. I actually think I would prefer the Leeds fixture for Mount and Havertz, and I think I would prefer the Wolves fixture for Alonso. I'm not too displeased. What do you think, guys? What do you think, guys? Am I just in denial because I'm upset because I kept Havertz and Mount and they've been benched? If I get 30 minutes off the bench or 20 minutes off the bench from Mount and Havertz and I get them starting the Leeds game, I'm actually glad I didn't sell Havertz. But I'm glad Alonso starts. I think Alonso, again, like I said, I think the Wolves fixture is slightly better there. What other teams have we got? Aston Villa. Let's just make sure Cash, Coutinho and Watkins start. That's not Aston Villa. That's a different Aston Villa. Villa. That's Aston Villa. Watkins, Cash, Mings, Digne. Oh, Coutinho's benched. Oh my good God. Wowza. Oh dear. That's not good. Okay, I feel less bad about Havertz and Mount being benched then. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Nick says, as a student, I find it hard to get 8 hours of sleep, so at the moment, just getting 5 to 6. Nick, you need to get 8 hours of sleep. The thing is, with respect to, like, not many people in the world are going to be as busy as I am, and I'm not saying that to try and brag. Like, I get ridiculous amount of work done. You probably don't spend all of that time as a student working. Remove an hour of gaming or an hour of time in the evenings where you're just sat scrolling through social media. Try and reduce your screen time. You can get an extra hour in just by removing some of that time that you just spent doing nothing, sat on your phone. I'm not saying you should do less student work, but still trying to get some sleep is important. João Pedro benched. Is he even in a team? Is João Pedro just not there? Oh, João Pedro's got a groin injury. My word, the start to this game week has been horrific. Oh, that's horrid. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. Your plug worked. The book should arrive in time for my holiday to Turkey to read on the beach. Yes, love to hear it, John. Honestly, like I said, I wouldn't recommend the book if I didn't think it was actually a good book. Because the thing is, like I said, I'm not making money off this to just be like, I'm doing it to make loads of money. I put so much effort into this. I spent 14 months writing this book. I made it. God, what is that huge ad? Why Twitter have ads this size on thingy now? Yeah. Anyway, I'll stop talking. Hot tip: go and study and stop doing this. Yeah, stop watching an FPL stream. Go study. God. Did you watch the Matthew Walker on Joe Rogan podcast? No, I didn't. Is it worth watching? Or listening to, I guess. Realise this is a bit off topic, but I have my psychology paper 1 in 2 weeks and I've barely revised. Any advice for last minute cramming techniques, given you seem to have quite the grasp on the subject? Literally, the last lecture that I gave last week was revision techniques for first year psychology students. So I gave a full 2-hour lecture on revision techniques and stuff. Basically, just what I would do is count back from the exam date. Right, so work out when your exam date is, work out how many lectures you've got to cover, and then just start planning it in from there. With respect to covering the amount that you need to cover, the key thing is just trying to cover the key theories rather than trying to cover everything if you've not got enough time to do it. Cover the big, bulky theories that sometimes like lecturers make it very clear. This is the thing. Like, I'll give you a little tip from a lecturer's point of view. We try and make it as clear as possible to students what's going to be in the exam. We'll say over and over again, this is a very key theory. So try and highlight some of the more key theories and just spend time on that. But to be honest, just don't panic. Like, your grade at university is not the end of the world. And I don't mean don't put effort in. Like, again, not to brag to the 265 people here, I got very good grades at university and at school. I'm a bit of a nerd, as you can probably tell by the way these videos run. I put absolutely every inch of blood, sweat and tears into my university grade. It doesn't matter. Like, I didn't get my PhD because of my grades. I got my PhD because I interview well and because I've got good experience, like in applied settings. Like I worked with a few football clubs. University is much more than your grade. It's about the skills that you get at university, and that goes for jobs as well. You're getting further jobs isn't just due to the job that you've had. It's the things that you learn at that job. And I'm all about at the moment trying to gain skills and experience, right? I'm not doing well on YouTube because I got a first class honors in my bachelor's and master's. I'm doing it because I learned the skills of speaking in front of a camera and presenting. So yeah, went on a little bit of a rant there. What was the question? Oh, how to revise. Just do your best. Do your best. Focus on the key theories. Work back from whenever your exam date is and leave it there. So yeah, that's what I do. Oh no, Tom from Who Got the Assist took a hit for João Pedro. That's just so horrible. It's just a move that makes sense. You think you're getting a double game week plan. You just pull, oh, camera's dying. God, my camera is really struggling today. I think it's overheating. Yeah, João Pedro pulling up with a groin injury. Like, it's just not something you can predict really on a bench boost. There we go. I'm really hoping this does mean that Havertz and Mount start against Leeds, but we'll see. I did well at university, but don't have the skills. And again, that's fine as well. I'm not saying that if you do well at uni, but you don't have skills, that's it. You get life's over. I'm just thinking about what I've been able to achieve. And again, I'm not perfect. I'm not saying I'm the most successful rich person in the world. But what I've been able to achieve, my PhD, my lecturing, and my YouTube channel this season, and just content creation in general, I don't think that's the result of spending my hours with my head buried in a book. And yet I did. I spent far too long focusing on and revising and getting a good grade. And it is great. Like I got valedictorian at masters and bachelors. And if you don't know what that means, it means I got the best grade in my entire school and year group for my bachelor's and master's degree. So you would think, as someone with that sort of background, that I would spend all of my time telling people that they need to spend their time revising and getting a good grade. But like, apart from just being a bit of a show off, as I've just done there, and slapping it on your CV and just going, listen to me, I'm extremely clever. It doesn't gain you that much. What gained me? When I had my interview for my PhD, I spoke to, after they gave me the PhD and after they gave me the lecturing position, I spoke to them, and it wasn't my grades. It genuinely wasn't. They said two things. Number one, I had experience in the field that they wanted. And number two, I interviewed well. And that was it. And that was that. And I was lucky it was a virtual interview. And if you can't tell already, I'm very capable at sort of looking down a camera and presenting to a camera. So again, if someone wants a reason to start a YouTube channel, getting a YouTube channel teaches you so much more than just presenting a YouTube video. It teaches you how to pace the way you're speaking. It teaches you how to make eye contact with a camera, although it's pretty similar with people. It teaches you how to project your voice. If you can't tell, I'm not whispering, right? This is me speaking at a normal... If you want to know what's me speaking at a normal volume, you project your voice a little bit, you lift your chin up, start using your hands a little bit. My hands are normally below the camera. So these are the things for me that are slightly more important than I got a first class, I got this grade, I got 90%, whatever you got. This is not to say, by the way, this is not to say that I don't think grades are worth focusing on, but we'll see. It's actually my A-level, so even less to worry about, but I'm not really one to stress, so just generally worrying, thank you. Yeah, even less so for your A-levels then. But yeah, still give it your everything, but don't stress. Get your sleep in, make sure that you're still eating well, exercising, sleeping, that sort of stuff. University results are typically graded to a set distribution. Any competent student who is engaged in a course should do well or at least pass. Yeah, we do. Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm literally marking dissertations as we speak. And there's obviously that element in there as well about marking to a distribution. So I think just to recap, guys, back to FPL a little bit. Mateta, Gaeta, Coutinho, Havertz, and Mount are the main people that are benched. And then João Pedro's out with a groin injury. I think that's it, right? Those are the main ones. Am I correct? Is there anyone else? So Coutinho, Gaeta, Mateta, Havertz, Mount. Those 5 are the main ones benched. Oh, and Werner, of course, if you still own Werner. And then João Pedro out with an injury. I can't sleep more than 5 hours. Is that bad? It's not great, I'll be honest. Again, if you read Why We Sleep by Matthew Walker, and if you read any of the studies, 5 hours isn't enough. I won't go into it now because Matthew Walker has written a book which is taking me age. Oh, Werner starts, does he? Oh, sorry, I missed that. Yeah, he's written a book that has taken 20 years to research. So I can't give you all of the reasons, but you really do need to be getting a minimum of sort of 6.5 to 7 hours sleep. Just do it slowly. Slowly try and up it 15 minutes at a time. Start sleeping 15 minutes more at a time to try and get that up. Sorry, I didn't realise Werner starts. That's cool. Probably means he doesn't start against Leeds. Probably means Pulisic is in there against Leeds, but that doesn't matter. I think if you have Mount and Havertz, I genuinely don't think... I'm not too displeased about that. I'm thinking in my head, it's got to mean that they get Leeds. They're not going to be benched 2 matches in a row after having a week off as well before an important FA Cup final. I think they'll get 20 minutes to half an hour, both of them. I think they'll both come out around 60, 70, and I think then they'll both start against Leeds. Quality sleep matters. If you wake up fresh after 5, that's all that matters. To some extent, yes, but that's not completely correct. You need quality and quantity of REM sleep, which is where we dream. Rapid eye movement sleep. It's where your body goes into full paralysis, your muscles relax, and it's where your brain starts making connections and recalibrating without going into too much detail. So you go through a sleep cycle. That final sleep cycle is REM sleep. So you need to, this is why it's like a 20-minute nap. You're not going to go into REM sleep. So you'll go through that sleep cycle. You start with like non-REM sleep. By the time you get to that final sleep cycle, you need as much possible REM sleep for muscle recovery, connections in the brain, sort of memories, etc. So you need good quality sleep. You need good quality REM sleep, but you also need to get a good quantity of REM sleep as well. So REM sleep is everything. Everything. I've got mates with PhDs, but whenever I ask exactly what a PhD is, I never get a clear answer. Always I get the impression that PhD people just want an excuse to continue the student life. Most of them are the definition of normies, kind of nerdy and soft. Thank you very much. I'm joking. Thank you very much for the compliment. Basically, a PhD is a research based degree, whereas a master's and a bachelor's is a taught-based, a content-based degree. So unless you're doing an MRes, which is research-based, with a bachelor's and master's, you have lectures, you have exams, you have coursework. A PhD, you don't have exams, you don't have coursework, you don't have lectures. You research a specific part of what you're interested in, and you write up a thesis. So at the end of my PhD, I write up a 100,000 word thesis on the role of virtual reality in skill acquisition in sport. And you do experiments, you do research. I don't think it's an excuse to continue studying at all. What I think it is if you want to continue in academia, if you want to go into a very specific field, if you do a PhD, it allows you to get very, very specific with what you want to do. So if I want to continue working with virtual reality in elite sport, a PhD in that is brilliant. So if, for example, I want to go and apply for a role to be a sports psychologist at Manchester United, and they are looking for someone that's good with technology and to implement a VR system into their club, I've got the perfect PhD to back that. So that's what a PhD is. Hopefully that helps. It's more research-based than sitting there and doing exams and doing lectures. I stopped using an alarm clock to wake up. Just wake up when my body is ready. That's the perfect position to get in. I'd like to get into that position for sure, and I'm getting better with that, definitely. Ross, do you practice... what did you study at university? I studied psychology, a bachelor's degree, so just plain psych, right? Just did a psychology degree. And then I did sport and exercise psychology as a master's degree, and now I'm doing a PhD in sports psychology. So all 3 of them are psych, but I started out very broad psychology. So my bachelor's degree dissertation was actually in the role of sleep, which is why, again, I've got quite a lot of knowledge of sleep, was the role of sleep in eyewitness testimony. So what we were exploring is, does it matter if you ask an eyewitness what their account of it? So say an eyewitness watches a crime, right? Say I'm walking down the street, I witness a crime at 4 or 5 p.m. Does it matter if you ask someone what their account of that was before they sleep versus after they sleep? What is the role of sleeping on their eyewitness testimony? And what we essentially found, without going into too much detail, is we found that because sleep consolidates memory, because when you sleep, you're more likely to make connections in your brain and your memories like to strengthen. What that does is sleep can sometimes create false memories. So when you sleep, your brain's making all these random connections. Sometimes that can cause the creation of false memories. So it might be that when they wake up, they think they remember in more detail, but what they're doing is their brain is making up some of the things that they missed. If you just glance to the side, then look back, your brain has to piece together what you've seen because you can't take in all of that information. So what we found is basically you want to ask someone what their eyewitness testimony is before they sleep. If you give them the opportunity to sleep, by the time you ask them again, they could give a completely inaccurate account. So the question was about my degrees. I did my degree in psychology, sports psych, and then sports psych again. Ross, do you practice lucid control dreaming? I don't. I've tried before. It's semi-successful, but no, I just sort of focus on getting as much sleep in as I possibly can. I'm a first-year mechanical engineering student. I have all 3 exams online and open book. Yeah, very lucky. I had 9 exams in my first year and none of them were open book. So I think you're very lucky there that that's the sort of the situation we're in. One of the many silver linings that sort of come from COVID is that some of the exams have been a little bit easier for students. Get yourself a comfortable bed. That will help with sleeping. Yeah, sure. Under 6 hours increases chance of cancer, Alzheimer's, and a load of other things. Yep, absolutely. Did you do A-levels? I did. I did A-levels in psychology, history, English, and philosophy and ethics. And I got A star A. Right. So only one A star. No, I'm really happy with them. I got an A star in psychology. I got 100% in my psychology A-level, which was one of the first times apparently, which is cool, which is what you should hope, really. Which way is my hat going? If I spend all my time talking about psychology on this channel, you would hope that I have the credentials. So yeah, A star in psychology, A in history, A in English language and literature, and an A in philosophy and ethics. So a bit of Plato, Aristotle, Socrates, all that lovely stuff. Could you talk about imposter syndrome? I could. I've not got a great background in imposter syndrome, for sure. It's basically the thought that you're not adequate in the area of life that you're in. For example, maybe going into a PhD, maybe I'm worried that I'm not as clever as other PhD students. Maybe I'm worried that I'm not going to be able to succeed in that role. And maybe I feel like I don't deserve it. That's sort of my understanding of what imposter syndrome is. Basically, you've just got to accept that when you first start a role, you're going to be nervous. You're going to feel like you're not adequate, but you are, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't have got that role. Unless you've just randomly stumbled into something, you're there for a reason. You've worked hard to get there. And if you feel like you've got imposter syndrome, work on it. Work on whatever that element is that you don't feel like you're good enough at. And hopefully you'll start to reduce those feelings of imposter syndrome. Talking of REM sleep, how come some people can remember their dreams vividly while others can't remember in any details at all? Great point, Robert. There's loads of different theories for this. There's no one good reason. Some people say it's just to do with the brain wiring of your brain. Some people say it's to do with the time that you enter REM sleep. For example, if I wake up midway through a REM cycle, I might be more or less likely to remember my dreams. In comparison, you know, sometimes when you wake up, you're like, I woke up midway through a dream. Did you know that often you're not waking up midway through a dream? You might have ended that dream at like 5 a.m. That might have just been like the last piece of REM cycle that you had. So there are loads of different theories. There's no good answer to that, as far as I know anyway, unless there's more recent data. Which university did you attend? Yeah, I just said this. Royal Holloway, University of London for my bachelor's. It's a BSc and MSc, not a BA and MA. My bachelor's was Royal Holloway, master's Bangor in North Wales, and then I'm doing my PhD in Nottingham Trent. When are we getting rid of exams? I don't know. They should have got. They're so outdated, absolutely outdated. Wolf whistle, those grades. Yeah, they're not bad. They weren't the best grades in the world. Like I said, this isn't to try and like boast or show off. 1 A star isn't that incredible. Like getting a few A's as well, like it's great, but I was happy enough with them. They got me into the university that I wanted. So the game is updated. Lovely stuff. We'll go look at that in a second. Thanks, Big A. So imposter syndrome is having low self-efficacy. It is an element of it. It isn't just that, Ronaldinho, but yeah, pretty much. Rohildinho. Yeah, it's an element of imposter syndrome is low self-efficacy, but it's more than that. It goes beyond that. Low self-efficacy alone isn't enough to lead to imposter syndrome. I'm going to start work now. It was nice listening to you. That's great. Enjoy your work. Is Raw Holloway good? Got an offer for economics. It is absolutely incredible. I can't recommend Raw Holloway enough. It was by far and away my favourite university of the three. If you get an offer to Raw Holloway, take it. Have feeling for you as Chelsea has rotated heavily. No, I don't care. Hopefully they'll play the Leeds game. If you've watched my channel for a while, you'll know I'm just not someone that gets caught up in this stuff. FPL is meant to be a game that we enjoy. FPL is a game where we can only make a decision before the deadline. These things happen, right? No need to feel sorry for me. I'm absolutely fine, honestly. Right, game's updated apparently, so I can refresh this. Haha, we are here at game week 37. Let's get the bus team set up. Guys, who would you bench here for Matty Cash? Right, I've obviously got to bring Matty Cash in. Who am I benching for Matty Cash? I guess it's Mount. I guess it's Mount. Something like that. It's quite a strong bench, actually, isn't it? It's not a bad bench at all. Something like that. There you go. There's my bus team for 37. It's not a bad team at all, is it? Not a bad team at all. Bin off Cancelo. Do you think you'd start Mount ahead of Cancelo? I'm not so sure. West Ham are going to score in Liverpool and hand Liverpool the title. Do you think? I think they're going to rotate very heavily, to be honest. Although I guess they're out, aren't they? They're out of the good bench boost team this year. I know. I guarantee the bench there for 37 outscores my 36 bench. Barcelona have reached an agreement with Azpilicueta for a 2-year contract. Interesting. Would you avoid Mateta for the next 2 weeks now that he's been benched? Maybe. Yeah, I don't think it's a priority. I think there are definitely better options. I think I'd probably try and predict which of Havertz and Mount's going to start, and I'd bench the other one. Why wouldn't you captain Salah? I like captaining the doublers. I support Manchester United. Is the team I support. This has been a bit of a monster stream, hasn't it, today? I wasn't really planning on making it such a monster stream, but here we are. I haven't even had lunch. Here we are. I'm getting a little bit of stick for keeping Havertz here. I genuinely think if someone said, would you rather have Havertz against Wolves or Leeds? I think I'd prefer to have him against Leeds. So I'm not too displeased about the Havertz benching, to be honest. Salah has 181.76% in the top 10k. Oof. Is live FPL updated then? Should we get it up? I'm trying to think of the best way to structure this so that you can see it all. Give me a second, guys. I'm just going to get live FPL up for us. Right, you can see some of the top 10k percentage. You're not going to be able to actually see that, are you? Right. Jesus Christ. Come on, Ross. Get with it. Honestly, OBS does my head in sometimes. You've seen the joys of behind the scenes of an FPL YouTuber. Right. So here are the top 10 percentage ownership for my players. Salah's at 181.76%. Wowza. That last piece of advice on imposter syndrome was incredible. Oh, thank you. Thank you, Joe. I appreciate that. This is what I love doing. I love talking psychologies. I mean, like, not that I'm not passionate about FPL. Like you can tell in my, of course I'm passionate about FPL, but my real passion is psychology. So there we go. Hopefully, it's 11:23 p.m. here, 23 minutes after my Raptor suggested bedtime. Been off the live stream then. Been off. Go get some sleep, Robert. Sleep is more important than getting your daily dose of FPL Raptor. Sorry, I was looking at ownership. So basically, Salah, Trent, Cancelo, and Saka aren't getting me many points because they're already like close to 100% effective ownership. Where are the big rank threats for me? If we just scroll down here. Oh, for goodness sake, this isn't going well. Oh, piss out. I can't be bothered with it. We'll just leave it like that then. The big rank threats for me are going to be like the likes of Sonny and all of those others. Let me have a look. I really could do with a big green arrow this weekend, lads. Would be very helpful for me. So my biggest rank threats are Son, Nketiah, James, Robertson, Kulusevski. It's pretty much the major threats for me are Son, Nketiah, James, and Robertson. I'm not too stressed about Robertson. I don't think, because I think he'll be benched and one. James, I've got Alonso to try and cover. Really, it's just Nketiah and Son for me. I need to try and hope that Nketiah and Son don't go too crazy. Thoughts on free hit 37 and 38? I mean, 38. It depends on your team. Depends on your team. It really depends on your team. I prefer 37 just a straight shootout, but I think 30. I think 38 is fine if your team's already well set up for 37. Right. I think we're going to leave it there, guys. I think. So, thank you very much for joining me today. Content next week, just for those of you that are interested. Content next week will be a free hit related video early in the week, probably on Monday, to be honest. Probably as early as Monday. There'll be a nice free hit draft, free hit guide for Game Week 37. So look out for that. If you're free hitting that week, it'll be good. Even if you're not free hit, by the way, still watch the video because I'll go through my top options. Then we're going to have a Game Week preview video. Then we'll have a team selection video. And then we're going to have a deadline stream for 37. So next week, there's going to be 4 pieces of content. And the deadline stream will be exactly like this one. So if you enjoyed the deadline stream today, make sure to drop a like, make sure to subscribe. Also, make sure to tune into next week's one. Hopefully, we'll have another really good stream. And then after that, we've only got 1 more week left. And then the season's over. So yeah, we are going to try and hit 15,000 subscribers. So please do subscribe. Please do pass on the channel to some other people if you've not yet done so. We'll try and get this channel out to some other people. And thank you for being here today. If you're someone that's watched this random section at the end of the stream where we've just talked about all sorts of stuff, I really do appreciate it. Until next time, guys, thank you very much for watching. Cheers. Bye-bye.